Welcome to the Positively Star Wars Senate podcast. This is Obi-Wan Kenobi. May the Force be with you.
Looky, Senator. There's a Jedi arriving.
Let's make this our best show ever!
I will sign no treaty, Senator.
I am the Senate.
This is the way.
So, hello Star Wars fans and welcome to the latest episode of the Positively Star Wars Senate podcast. This episode is recorded on Sunday the 4th of June 2023 using the powerful dyad of the Force, which connects two Force-sensitive beings, making them one with the Force, and sharing a connection that spans across space and time, otherwise known as Microsoft and Skype in this case. And in my latest update, I've now got the weather as well, which is everything I've always wanted, like using Skype. My name is Stephen, the Chancellor of this Senate, the obligatory Brit contingent of this otherwise American crew, as we talk positively about Star Wars for roughly the next hour and a bit. This episode is brought to you by Yup Nub, Ewoks. As it's the Return of the Jedi 40th special chat episode this time, it's time to celebrate these small, furry, humanoid bipeds that live on the forest moon of Endor. And as we know, we're big fans of Ewoks. And as I just read beforehand, it was going to be Wookiees originally in the movie, but they changed it to Ewoks. But before we get going proper, it's time to hear a quick word from our sponsors.
Learn valuable skills. Bring order and unity to the galaxy. Be a part of something. Join the Empire.
Right. So, before we get going, I introduce my fellow senators on the show. I'm going to be giving you two questions at the start of the episode for everyone listening and for the senators that are with me now. And at the end, I shall repeat the questions and we'll go and see what everybody's answers are. So, whereas I'm in the UK, I am joined from across that great big pond by positive friends from the United States of America, who are this month Ricky.
Hello.
Ron.
Greetings and salutations, fellow senators, Chancellor.
Ryan.
Hello there.
And Marie.
Hello.
Hello. So I've got two questions, and they are Return of the Jedi themed. So, senators who are here with me now, write down your answers or write down the question, have a little think about it, and then we'll come back at the end of the show. So the first question is, what's the first thing that C-3PO says in Return of the Jedi? And as I'm going to almost guarantee that you guys probably know this, Ron, what is the number of the first Imperial shuttle seen in the movie? So we want the first thing that C-3PO says in the film, and we want the number of the first Imperial shuttle seen in Return of the Jedi. There's your questions, answers at the end of the show. Okay, so as I said, on this show, we're going to have a little round the table discussion about Return of the Jedi, the 40th anniversary, our thoughts about the film when it first came out, our thoughts about it when it came out for the second time, and our thoughts about it when it's come out again. We've seen it about 500 times by now. But we're also going to talk about Visions Season 2, which we've all watched, and I've just managed to catch up on that. And if we're really desperate for time, we might have 5 minutes on the High Republic Young Jedi Adventures, but we'll see how it goes, of which some of us have watched a couple of the episodes. But as ever, we shall start off by going around that big table that spans the Atlantic Ocean and see what everybody's been up to in Star Wars land these last 30 days since we all gathered around this massive table. And we all start this episode, should I say, with Ricky.
Hello. Just been trying to play Jedi Survivor. I'm like in the early stages, so no spoilers. But no, it's cool. It's like the first game, but a little better. There's less bugs to fight, so I'm enjoying that. And then
What's
what
your
else?
favorite stance in the game?
What's my stance?
Or what's your favorite saber?
Oh, I use double-bladed orange saber. That's what I'm using right now. Yeah, it's cool. There's a lot of customizations, and it's a lot more than the first game. So, I mean, you can change what you look like, and the haircuts, and all that stuff, and
That's
different
what really confused me, because as I said, I watched the whole movie,
Yeah, you watched
the whole game online on YouTube, so I know the whole storyline.
Which I don't see how that person like posted that like 2 days after the game came out.
I have no idea. They must have people had advanced copies or something like that.
They must have not done any of the side missions because like there's so many different side missions to do. They must have just blown through the game. Yeah, which is no fun.
I got confused because I was watching one movie that somebody put online, and then I realised that this chap or lady was missing out quite a lot of the bits in between the in-game movie stuff. So I thought, well, this isn't good. I'm missing. It just didn't make sense every time I saw the in-movie bits. I thought, this doesn't make sense. I've missed parts of the storyline. I'm going to have to do something else. So I went back. I went look around the old YouTube search, and I found somebody who had done like it was 2 hours more in the movies. I thought this person must have recorded a lot more. So I get to watch all the side puzzles and stuff, which there are a lot of puzzles.
Yeah,
usually squeezing around things, jumping things, and moving things around, as it seems to be. But yeah, Cal looked completely different in that one. I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah, you can give him like a mullet. You can put like a giant mustache on him.
Yeah, I realised there's different. What they call them, custom skins, isn't there, and stuff. So it's got a bit more of a beard in one, bit less of a beard.
The first game, all you could do was like change out his poncho. This one, you can fully customize him. So it's a lot funner. Yeah, I have him dressed like kind of mixed between Han Solo and Luke in Return of the Jedi. So it's pretty fun. And I have he has like Obi-Wan's lightsaber. It's so many different customizations like you can do. And
the weird thing is this won't spoil any of the story. But every time it goes back to the Mental, is it Mental? What's the ship called?
The Mantis.
Mentis, that's it. I was close. So the Mentis. Every time they go back there and they want to go somewhere else, he goes up to that sort of control table, presses the button, and he goes, "Where should we go to now then?"
I haven't got to really that yet.
That never fits in with the story because they have the story go, yeah, well, we really need to go to X, Y, Z. Okay, then you walk him up to the thing. He goes, no, so where do you want to go to today then? Like, well, you just said in the bit beforehand. That just really sounds a bit odd.
Yeah, Steven, I'm still like on the first planet where Greece has the cantina.
Oh yeah, Greece, yeah. He's fun.
Yeah, I'm in the beginning part still. I haven't really played that much, but it looks gorgeous on TV. So
I should say no, but yeah.
I just been doing that, and then eating Grogu cakes, and I've probably done more, but I just can't think of it right now. Yeah, it's been good.
Okay. Well, and also because we've never talked about it in the other segment. You also watched a few episodes of the High Republic Jedi Adventures thing.
Yeah, I watched all the shorts and then the first two. We just haven't got around to it.
I saw half the shorts and I skipped the rest of them.
It's weird because the second episode is basically one of the shorts, so it's the same story, just expanded. Yeah, with the little pirate guy. Yeah.
But it's very much, as I said, as we guessed it would be. It's very much a lesson for the episode, Little House on the Prairie, Star Wars style.
Yeah, it's like a regular Disney Junior show, but it's cute. I like it. We just haven't watched it. We've been catching up.
As Ron said before the show started, it's very pretty, and I have to agree, it is very pretty. But it's wholesome. You're not going to get any swear words in this.
Yeah, I wish they would have had the show on when my daughter was like toddler age. It would have been perfect. I made her watch Clone Wars, and Ahsoka's like beheading people. So
there's none of that on that show anyway.
Look, baby, she just took off 5 people's heads in one swoop. Yeah, he did that.
I remember we never really thought about how much violence there was in the Clone Wars.
There was tons of it. There was such a dark show. I started watching it like when she was like little, like that age, like with her, because Netflix was going to threaten to remove it from there, like for the 4th time. So, and I remember like wow, this is way darker than I remembered it was.
Machines' lives matter as well.
It's funny how kids will do that to you to give you a new perspective on what you're watching and what you're hearing coming out of TV shows. And it's like, wait a minute, what? Yeah, you don't think about it when you're watching, but yeah, you have those little ones. All of a sudden, TV becomes a whole different animal.
It's just a different experience. Star Wars, like watching it like as an adult and then watching it with the kid next to you. Like you finally enjoy things that you probably just glanced over. So. I think a lot of movies do that. Yeah, it's so hard to find movies that are like kid appropriate that don't have like little things here and there.
Okay. But, yeah. Well, we move on then to Ron.
Greetings, everyone. My Star Warsing obviously has just been taking on the content that came out, Visions and the like. It's been very light. The only thing I did pick up, I managed to score a poly bag. I'm going to throw it in the chat here. always fascinated by the Lego figurines, and because I don't think they did sell them, but they do every once in a while a promotional thing or a gift with purchase type of thing, whatever. And I saw a polybagged Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think I learned it was celebrating the 20th anniversary of A New Hope. So 2021 maybe. But anyway, it's a very, very cool little. Yeah, it does look a little George Lucas, whatever. A little cool Lego fig. I'm sure it's very common at this point, or it's not anything super highly collectible. But Obi-Wan is the man, and saw that
older. It's
just
yellow.
thought it was cool. Yeah. Say that?
Oh, it's older because it's yellow. Now they make them like, a
little more flesh tony or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought I saw it was. Yeah, it was supposed to be for the 20th of A New Hope, which would have been just but a couple years ago. So.
The 20th for A New Hope. That would have been like
20 years. Anyway, so that's
like
a bit. It's been a very light, bit of it here as of late.
Of course, it is. We will be talking about the Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary. Of course, everybody knows we've said it about 500 times by now. So I have to ask the obligatory question, Ron: have you opened the box?
I have not. No, I was going to surprise you, say something during the Return of the Jedi while I saw the barge. I was like, got inspired and all that. But no.
In the box.
So yes, the barge is in the box.
Where is the box? I need to know, where is the box in the house?
Barge is in the box. The box
is in his attic. Indiana Jones like.
And the attic is in the house.
It's in the attic. Wow.
We have a finished, a safe, a conditioned, if you will, attic. So not, it's fine.
Yeah, it would have ended up in my living room if I put it in my.
Are you still trying to work out how much it's actually worth if you sold it now?
I haven't been down that path. I know it does command it does command a bit of a why didn't I buy two aspect in terms of what it's commanding, whatever. And honestly, that does factor into I gotta make sure I find the right place to put it if I do choose to want to put it somewhere. I do have a place for it that I think is big enough to accommodate it when all that transpired way back when or whatever. But yeah, now it's commanding such a ridiculous price that it's like, I have to. We'll really. It'll be a day if it does get out of the box.
You opened the box before though, right?
I did open the shipper. Okay. Yeah, I did open the shipper to get it out. I think I did that. I think I took pictures and sent it to Steven, if I recall. I can't imagine who else would have cared to send it to anybody, but. Yeah. I found him on my phone feed one point in time. I just remember it was on the dining room table, and it is huge.
Oh, yeah.
It was
on the table.
I mean, the packaging and the packaging art and everything is collectible in and of itself because it's just that gorgeous vintage collection. I don't recall it being anything ridiculously heavy. I think it's more awkward than anything, the big box and just the sheer size of it and moving it carefully so that you don't ding anything. I think if I recall, I think it's pretty well packed inside of there. But yeah, I definitely recall getting it out of the shipper just to be able to, like I say, see it or take the pictures. And I think it was that's what started all this with the Chancellor and I, with Stephen and I, that I sent pictures to say yes.
How long has it been now? It must be 2 years, mustn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it's longer than that. Whenever that thing dropped, I took part. Well, actually, I didn't take part in it right away. I took part in it like the very last day, I think.
I feel like we were already doing the show, like releasing the episodes.
Maybe that's why I took the pictures, to have for the show, or to when we talked about it or something like that, just to have them. Right. I've told the story that I remember waiting for the FedEx man because the thing was going to be huge, right? And it was sitting on the porch was not going to be an option. So I got wind or somehow got a clue that they were coming that day. So I stayed home from work to be able to receive. And the FedEx dude said, this is the second one he's delivered in the area. I was like, oh, really? That there's somebody else in my small town USA that has one of these things. I've often wondered. And he told me the address, but I don't. If I remarked it, I don't remember it. And if I did remark it or put it down, I don't know where I ever put that note down to try to find that fan to see just to know that there was somebody else in the area that was captured enough by what that thing was to pick one up themselves. Because yeah, that was a bit of not a gamble. I mean, we knew what it was, and it was worth every penny. Yeah, and it was worth every penny. It was, but it was that HasLab thing that would have never made it in the stores for sure. So it needed to be what it was, but it was very well done for sure.
God, it can't be years now. God, this opens me to the question: what's the longest anybody's ever kept something in the box when they purchase something? Anybody listening? Email in. Drop us a note anywhere and let us know what's the longest you bought.
Oh, I got Lego sets.
Never taken out of the box. I mean, literally at the parcel. This is not. Oh no, this is in the box, isn't it? It's not in the parcel.
Yeah, I got Lego sets from the original run that I wish I would have bought more of. I didn't care for them. The Lego. If you look at the original ships and designs of things, they looked like they were made out of block Legos, and they didn't look very good. And you collect what you love, right? And I didn't care for them. I picked up a couple, I think an X-Wing and an R2, just the kind of look neat, or I don't remember now anything about them or whatever. But now those have a whole lot of collectability to them because nobody knew but now the Legos, they design them for such, or they create them with such specific to that model piece that they look a lot better once they're built. But yeah. So anyway, yeah, there's a number of things in the collection that are still in the box, if you will, Stephen.
Right. I'm just thinking that if you had sold it for no particular reason, do you think you could buy a 2023 Honda Civic with the money?
You can put a healthy down payment on one, sure.
Just curious, no particular reason. Okay. Yep. Right. Ryan.
Well, I haven't been doing much. I'm still trying to finish Path of
He's been playing Zelda nonstop.
Yeah, that's really it. So I haven't been much in the terms of Star Wars, but I have played 150 hours of Zelda. So it's.
Oh, you were playing Fortnite too. I forgot about that too. The Star Wars Fortnite thing was on last month.
That
occupied.
I have not touched it since the event ended, though. So I'll probably fire it back up here now that it's summer and the kids home more. But I haven't finished High Republic Path of Vengeance yet, and it's not because it's the book's fault. It's because of my fault. Because every waking moment is like get home from work, talk with the family, have dinner and all that stuff, and and then just never and then play Legend of Zelda. Like that's
Wait, you're saying life gets in the way? Wait, what?
Zelda crazy. Gets in the way. He's been Zelda-fied.
Unbelievable. I almost couldn't make it today. Like I was like, man, I only get 2 days off because I took 5 days off last week.
Ryan's starting the Positively Zelda podcast.
Yeah. So, but no, it's pretty much just been as far as Star Wars Path of Vengeance. I tried watching Return of the Jedi last night, but my freaking Disney account locked me out again, and I had to change my password for like the 5th time. So I didn't have time to watch that, and I could have watched it this morning, but again, other stuff gets in the way, and I watched Adam Driver in 65 million. Well, it's Adam Driver. And then I watched Creed 3 this morning, so I'm just busy with all sorts of other stuff. And haven't been able to watch Return of the Jedi, so not much me for as far as Star Wars this past month.
You have seen it though, right?
Yeah, I wanted a refresher though because it's not at the top of the list. I'll say for as far as my rankings.
Oh, we'll get to that. Yes. You have reminded me. I've had password problems with Disney in the past for some reason. I don't know. It just goes nuts sometimes to change password. But you have also had your birthday since last time, Ryan, and you had some Star Wars bits and bobs for that.
Oh, yeah, I did have a Star Wars birthday. The wife bought me a cake, ice cream cake, which was...
ice cream?
Oh, yeah, I don't like normal cake. I'm not a fan of cake and cupcakes.
Yum.
I just don't like the style. American cake, I should say. So, but yeah, I had a Star Wars birthday. Kids had like a little Grogu bag and plates and all that stuff. So it was good.
Yeah, that's so bad. So ice cream, so that's kept in the fridge then, that cake?
Actually, it's still in the basement. I should probably have some for...
Yeah, surprisingly, you have to bake it. I think you get to 350 or 375. Yes, it's kept in the refrigerator.
In the freezer. Then you let it sit for 40 minutes.
Freezer, and then day of or the morning of, you want to put it, get it out and get it in the fridge or whatever, soften it up, or you'll be stabbing at that thing with the world's sharpest butcher knife and still hardly able to cut the thing.
Okay, excellent. Okay, right. Thank you. And last but not least, it's this could take a while because Marie's got about 3 months worth to catch up on here. Only joking.
I haven't actually been doing that much because I've been getting ready for 5 million different things that I have going on here. So let's see. In the last month or so, though, I've done a little bit. Been listening to some music from Galactic Empire, which is like Star Wars metal. So that's kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Closed on Sundays. It's like a lo-fi
Yeah, yeah.
band. They do
Yeah.
a lot of Star Wars lo-fi. So
Mhm.
anyone out there who has an interest in any of those types of things might want to check
I
those
love
out.
their stuff. Yeah.
Just for like Star Wars music-y stuff. What else? I did watch Return of the Jedi once. I was gonna do it again last night, but then I got tired. Watched all of Visions, and I've been doing a lot of like because I've been looking around for a new car and finally found one. I was looking around at like people's personalized plates and stuff because I'm kind of bored of mine. It's an old plate that I've had since I was like 22. So I'm looking at getting new plates, and I'm seeing a lot of like Mando themed stuff. Like yesterday's latest was my Mando. So I'm looking at what I would want to put on a new personalized plate, or just leave it alone. I mean, I just bought a new car, but yeah, that's pretty much
You
it.
could do
From here.
Leia's like prison cell number. What was that, Ron?
2187.
Yeah, what was the? Was it? Is it just that? I thought it was a really. What's the one with the really
There
long?
was a letter in there.
That was a really long
No,
number.
Trash
No, the
compactor.
really-
326
the really long number.
3827.
27. Yes.
That's it. The trash compactor number. Yes.
I just put that. That'd be awesome.
I'd be
263827. Yeah, it works.
see, but be curious to see if it's available because that's a pretty common tag number.
Yeah.
Vanity tag. Let's
Some
say.
person that doesn't even watch Star Wars has that number.
Well, then
Assuming
there's
you
that
guys-
too.
Assuming you get you can use the same numbers in different states. I suppose you guys.
Yeah,
agree.
you can.
Pretty
Yes,
sure you can,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
can.
yeah, 326 3827 could be there could be 50 of those.
Yeah.
Yes. Gotcha. Yeah.
I don't know if it's allowed because it's all
Yeah,
numbers.
it's
but,
all numbers might be tough.
I think you have to have a letter in there somewhere, but we'll see. It meets the 7-character guideline at least.
A zero could be an O, couldn't it? So
Yeah.
get away with that way. Yeah. I was just thinking of the some of the tricks used to play on the calculator. Can't say that here though. It's a family show.
Yeah.
Okay.
My license plate used to be a deep cut, but now since everybody's watched Revenge of the Sith, it's no longer one.
Has anybody else ever had a Star Wars license plate?
No.
I'm surprised at you, Ron. I'm surprised. I can see you with a Star Wars one. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Absolute silence there. Okay, right then. I was for sure that Ron would back me up on that one and say, "Oh yes, I've had one."
No, I'm sorry, not a vanity tag. And just it was not any. Not
Ron
any-
just drives an actual speeder to work.
Exactly.
I bought the.
Plus, like I spent enough on the sail barge. I cannot afford a custom.
He's got the Luke Skywalker Power Wheels, and he just takes it.
In all honesty, my comfort level of wearing it on my sleeve, wearing my Star Wars fandom on my sleeve is I'm getting better at it here in 2023. Obviously, by talking about it with fellow fans. But yeah, I was never really one to outwardly to go outwardly with it. I bought the stick figures where you put on the back of the vehicle. I don't know, is that a thing over there in Europe where the husband's Han and the wife is Leia, and then you have droids or Ewoks or various things like that. Or usually they skewed bad guy. It would be Vader and stormtroopers or something like that or whatever. But I found a set that was good guys, was Leia and Luke and things like that or whatever. I bought it, but could never bring myself to putting it on the back of the car. I think too the kids would be a bit embarrassed, and I don't think it passed the. It didn't have a high enough WAF factor, wife approval factor. Wasn't there for something like that on the back of the family vehicle, but I think
you guys know that I told you guys that my car got totaled out because I got in an accident. So like I have on that car I had on the back window, it's a sticker for Yoda. It's his face and it says "May the Force be with you." I've had that thing on there like forever, so I'm kind of sad that I don't have that car anymore because it was deteriorating and stuff. But I was like, I'm not gonna take this thing off. I love that sticker, so I left it on there until it could stay on there. But I have to find a new one. I actually have another Star Wars stickers when I do get a new car. It's like I think it's from Last Jedi because it's like the logo from Star Wars that's like kind of fading away, like floating off.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna put that in the back window. But yeah, my Grogu sticker or my Yoda. I'm saying Grogu for Yoda now. Like my Yoda sticker is gone. But it's cool. I like driving, and then I see like other cars. I'm like, oh, that person likes Star Wars because they have the Ahsoka sticker. This person has, I'm always pointing it out. So of course, like I'm dressed head to toe with even Star Wars socks when I leave the house. So, I don't care.
Okay, right. Rachel, moving on in the conversation then, and start talking about Visions Season 2. Which was we haven't actually talked about in any in depth since last time round. Actually, I'm thinking on the cuff here. Ryan, I'm putting you on the spot here. Do you want to take the lead? Do you want to take the lead on a brief summary of the episodes as you are our Visions master?
I have something pulled up. Yeah, I can follow the terms of your one sentence explanation.
You can go a little bit more if you want.
You can do 2 sentences if you like, but
I don't remember most of them because I didn't get to rewatch them. I watched like maybe the first one again.
Yeah,
I was busy playing Zelda.
Be a run-on sentence though. So
there are 6 episodes, weren't there?
It's fine. We're not transcripted. It's
fine.
No, there was 9.
Was there 9?
There were 9.
Oh, good grief! Oh yeah, you're right. I just saw 9 here, and I said 6. But okay.
Well, turn your phone around. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Yes. I'm doing those calculator jokes.
He's doing those calculator jokes.
Yeah.
Hey, Steven, you know that would never work, right? Because you can't flip over someone's license plate.
Well, you've got a mirror. I thought you have a mirror. You have a mirror in the
It
car.
doesn't go upside down.
What? How it works.
Okay, Vision Season 2. Hit it, Ryan.
Season 2, Episode 1 is called Sith. So this is the one with the painting and the girl with the double-bladed lightsaber fighting the Sith Master. So I won't go into the big Wikipedia explanation because, I mean, that's kind of the gist of it. This was the first one, the painting. She had one arm. She was a former Sith apprentice, and she left because she didn't like the way it was going. And it seems like this takes place during the High Republic era, is the way Wikipedia explores it. But, they're all what if kind of vision stuff anyway, so I don't put many of them in a timeline. But as far as this episode, it was a good kickoff just to show the artistic way that this whole series was going to go in this season. But I felt like there was a whole lot of different things. The stories were somewhat similar, but when you're given someone the task of writing a Star Wars story and people want to tell the stories that they want to tell, sometimes things pop up. People want to tell stories about family. People want to tell stories about Sith. So there was a couple of those that popped up, but I thought this one was a good kickoff just because it's artistic vibe where she went.
Yeah, I felt like it was really artsy with the
she went
stuff.
Like a cave that was all like white and painted with black, and she goes outside and it's the streaks of color. Maybe it's because I've crossed 40 now, but I'm appreciating the artistic lengths creators are willing to go, because I just went and seen Into the Spider-Verse last night.
Oh yeah,
which I wasn't able to finish because the power went out in the theater.
What? Dagger.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I in like 30 minutes before the movie ended, in a huge crazy scene that we were just going over, and we got this massive torrential rain pour that knocked out the whole power to the area.
Wow.
But I was appreciating the artistic ways they were going, and I've seen like I'm saying that more and more. It's like everything that I'm watching lately is just like art, and Visions is the perfect example of that. And I'll say this 100 times. Each one of these episodes is its own form of art, but this one I really, this one I did enjoy. I thought it was a good start to the second season. And like we mentioned before, how I like her 2-bladed saber, where it's just the normal red, and then it was the curved yellow. Remember we had this conversation.
I like the curved yellow.
Yeah,
And
that was a cool look.
It's canon in Star Wars, so it's not too wild. It's canon in Star Wars that they already have Samanters, right? Ron, is that what it is?
Scimitars.
Thought I had it there. I was like, okay, I think I got it this time.
Now it's I have that with Marie. I think of her name and I'm like, oh, I don't want to butcher because I know she hates the other one. And it's like, well, I want to say, no, Marie's the wrong thing, but it's the right thing. So it's Mary. And no, I don't know which one it is. No, curses. So yeah, you're going to constantly be fighting in your head as to which is the right one. Scimitar.
So it's
So did you guys, when you guys watched this one, did you like notice that she didn't take her saber with her? Like when she put it down to take that thing off the
Oh yeah. Oh, well, I mean, it was definitely in the camera view. Yeah.
Yeah, because she was like, I don't see why she even took it off, but like, yeah, she had to fidget with something on the vehicle. But
Yeah,
like,
definitely a thing to be like, oh, I don't have my blade type of stuff. I was like, well, you see that coming.
yeah, I thought this one looked really cool. Like it was a lot of allegories in there with the darkness overcoming her pain and stuff like that. I thought it looked really neat, but yeah, it wasn't like my favorite one of the whole thing, but it looked gorgeous though. I like the way they did the paint. It kind of did remind me of the Spider-Verse movie, the way the animation was on it. But yeah, I thought I liked it. The Sith guys looked really cool.
Yeah, they did.
Sith designs was very cool. And like Ryan, you say, as you're getting older and appreciating the creativity aspect of it, and there's definitely something to age, making that be more and more a thing as you've experienced everything. It's not just story. You have an appreciation for the time, energy, and effort that went into somebody creating something that's so visually beautiful like this, because it's not hand drawn, but it's still drawn nonetheless. That there's a lot of effort that went into making this thing happen for us. So I concur that, like you say, I'm going to say this for all of them, but yeah, they're all visually just gorgeous to watch in that sense. The only umbrage I took with this one was the and again, it's vision, so you have that taking liberties with stories or whatever, but there's constructs and there's roles and there's parts, and Yoda teaches us that forever, once you go down that path, forever it will consume you. Now, granted, Luke, we see, does not necessarily hold that to be true, but we took that to be because of the power of his father and all that got him off the path. Whereas this one, the lady just kind of decided, it's not for me. I don't want to do that anymore. So I kind of had that. And the only other takeaway I had with it, if you watch it again, the droid wakes up. And she's got a mechanical arm, like she obviously lost an arm in battle or something. But she wakes up and she like stretches her, like she's stretching her mechanical arm. Like when you wake up and you gotta you gotta reach and you're stretching and you slept on it wrong or something, whatever. And she did that to her mechanical arm. And for whatever reason, that stood out to me as a weird, maybe it's in your, because they talk about people with prosthetic, phantom feelings and all that sort of stuff is just a thing you would always do. But yeah, next time you watch it, you'll see her do that.
Not that she was painting with the Force, but she stretched her robot arm.
yeah, exactly. And the weird things you take away from watching these.
That's a gross misuse of the Force, by the way. Just using it to paint.
Wow, I thought it was an interesting aspect to if you were in tune with the Force and could, what would you create or what would you paint? But yeah, it's a perfect story for visions. Right, in this format of being able to tell what's in somebody's mind or what they're seeing, what they're envisioning, what they're going through, what they're thinking, whatever. That this type of format allows for such storytelling.
I do like the aspect of having like multiple Sith Lords, like that they were like a team. I thought that was pretty cool. I always wanted to see that in the movies where you have like groups of Sith, that Jedi have to fight. So I don't know if this would be in High Republic era because there was no Sith in the High Republic era.
Yeah, it's they say during the reign of the High Republic.
Really?
Oh, Sith remain in hiding during the reign. Oh, so maybe they're in hiding, so it's not like everyone knows that they're battling. So there's still.
Darth Bane have like rule of two, like in the Old Republic, right?
Yeah, he was the end of the Old Republic.
Yeah, but there's like 4 different Sith Lords. I don't know. Unless they did like a union. I don't know.
Much like the Jedi were eradicated, all the Sith were eradicated too, because you got to think there's no way he gathered all the Sith Bane on one planet and used a thought bomb to eliminate everybody at once. Like there's thousands of Sith, so
that's just what I was thinking. Right, so he may have come up with a rule of 2, but how did it get to that point? Yeah, there has to be some progression to where there's just 2. So yeah, he has that rule and he's going around eliminating Sith like this. Yeah, there's a lot of story that can be told there. Yeah.
Well, it's explained in the Darth Bane books, which are probably my still favorite Star
I
Wars
have
books.
one of them.
Oh, they're incredible. They opened my eyes to the dark side and how big Star Wars can be. And it's great. I mean, it doesn't shy away from a villain where they say stuff like, well, kind of feel sorry for him, and this is why he's a villain. He's just evil. I mean, he wants power. You know, yeah, his dad beat him or whatever, but he wants power, type of thing. And it's 3 books of him just slaughtering people and gaining power. But it explains exactly why he went with the rule of 2 and how he did it, type of thing.
I gotta read that one. After I read Shell's the Empire and the Thrawn trilogy, I'll read that Darth Bane book.
You can skip the Thrawn trilogy. Oh, that's the other thing. Not to get too far off track, but I started listening to the second Thrawn book, and it's just, oh man. Like I said, I'm trying to get into Thrawn. I really am.
Marie loves them.
I
They're good books.
cannot get into this character. Like, he's talking to Vader right now, and they're writing it like Vader's a complete idiot. You know, Vader. He's very curt. He's listen to this, do that, just do what I say. And Thrawn's like, well, why don't we just do this instead? And when are we doing it? And it's Vader looks like an idiot around every single corner. And I'm just like, everything Thrawn does is freaking annoying to me. It's just driving me nuts, this book. Because I'm
He's
just
an
like,
overachiever.
you're making Vader look like an idiot. So I'm still listening to it because I have a 45-minute drive to work now. So I'm like, well, I need more Star Wars. But yeah, again, way off track. So maybe
I thought those books took place like after Return of the Jedi.
No. He's talking about the new Thrawn trilogy.
Oh, the new Thrawn books.
He's talking about like the Thrawn Ascendancy trilogy, the ones that are canon.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't have those ones. I have the old trilogy.
I read the first one and I was like, I got like halfway through it and I don't know, I didn't like those.
But yeah, back to the first episode. So other than that, I mean, it had a droid. What was it, little 4-legged droid?
Oh, the droid was cute. Yeah.
I like the size.
Like one big eye.
Yeah.
All right. So what's the next one?
So the second episode was Screecher's Reach, and this is the one about the 3 kids who leave the factory and they want to explore the cave because they're like, oh, we hear there's magic there.
Yeah.
They go to explore the cave, and I'll say this about one of the later ones too, but I wasn't paying too much attention at the beginning because I was like, okay, it's a bunch of little kids going on a walk and stuff like that. I was literally waiting for the bigger anime episodes, like everyone's favorite episode, The Twins from the first season. So I'm waiting for the bigger anime ones, but this one blew me away. Like, once it got to the end, I was shocked how good it was. And what a crazy twist ending too. So, and the visual path that they're taking, like the art that they did in this, was great once they discovered the witch.
Like a vampire.
Yeah, they go exploring and they're like, oh, I'm brave and all that stuff. And the way they drew the witch, for the anime fans, there's Mob Psycho 100, and I'm sure you can look it up, type of thing. But it's just all black lines with like white squiggles, and I love that scratchy design. In the Mob Psycho 100, he does the same thing when he goes fully powered. The screen turns to constant squiggles and scratches, and there's just this all shadowy, scratchy figure with the solid white eyes. And it was stunning to watch this, and I was like, oh man, what a great turn as far as that story, where it starts off slow and then it literally turns into almost a horror. I mean, she's jumping and screaming and the screen's flickering and flashing. I was like, wow, this is really crawling on the ground. It was really good.
That was one of my favorites. The art really reminded me of Genndy Tartakovsky and his Clone Wars. The original animated Clone Wars, which was the 2D animation. But the screaming and screeching and all that was very Banshee-like. Given that this was done by an Irish studio, I was like, oh, they put a Banshee in it. So that's and even the cat was scared of that. I was terrified of the screaming. I had to turn it down because even the cat got scared. He was looking at me like, what is that? And can you please turn it off? But it's almost like a Legend of the Banshee type thing. It was and it was a good twist at the end that it was a test for the girl. I can't remember what her name was, Dal or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Dal.
Okay, yeah. So I really liked that one. It ended up being one of my favorites.
Yeah, me too. It ranked definitely probably top 3 for me. And
Mhm.
just like that ending where it's not always like this happy ending. It's this girl who made this choice to leave her friends behind, because at the very beginning they talk about getting out of this hard life because they're pretty much in
Mhm.
child and they just want to go for the stars and stuff like that. But then she abandons her friends for herself, type of thing, and she's not sure if she made the right decision with that look over the shoulder type of thing. But I like,
Oh yeah, that broke my heart. That was the heartrending shot.
yeah, I like open ended finishes like that, just because it's not happy and wrapped up in a bow and everyone's high-fiving. It's she abandoned everybody and she went off into space to train as a Sith, and I'm like, okay, that's cool, that's really cool.
Yeah, after watching that, I was like, are these all gonna be like Sith stories? Because after that last one and then this one, but
Oh yeah, well, they were back-to-back Sith ones, huh?
yeah, yeah, that one
That's
looked
right.
that one looked it was like really horror movie ish.
Yeah, I don't remember it enough. You had her going. She went off to train as a Sith.
She did.
Remember
At the end,
the necklace, and she killed the witch, which was just like a trapped Sith apprentice, and she just wanted the Sith wanted this girl pretty much the whole time. So it's almost like a training thing. So she put her in terrible child labor type of thing to make her struggle, and that's how all Sith become powerful. They're always in some like really bad
What's it-
place. Then they want more power to contain things, so to control their own destiny. And she goes into the mountains and she kills the apprentice, and then she's talking to her necklace, and that's when that the art's not really the art switches, but it goes from that crazy scary style to this angelic spaceship from the stars coming down in this long flowing like dress type of thing, and this just again like this angelic figure, and it's a Sith type of thing. She's like, you can come with me and train into the stars.
That's what I don't remember. How do we know that? I remember that thing person coming to take her or whatever. It was Sith. That
It was more
is
it's
it
more
is it explicitly said, or is it you're inferring that's what's transpiring?
It's
there?
I'm pretty
implied.
sure
She
she
has
says
yellow
it, right?
eyes.
Yeah.
I have
No,
to
she
go back
doesn't say
on.
anything. She has yellow eyes.
I have to go back
I was puzzled by that too. I was like, oh yeah, she is a Sith.
yeah.
I should
I
have
think
because Sith taking kids, Sith turning kids. Do we have that? I know we don't have it in movies in a minute, but is there? Usually Sith are, in my mind of what I understand, it's someone that has turned, that has given into the dark side, and that's not fair of a kid that hasn't experienced enough to be making type of choice or wanting something like that. Has that ever been done before, where the Sith take on a young apprentice,
Darth
a
Maul.
child?
Darth Maul
Yeah.
He
Darth Maul
he
was
was
in the
from-
books.
as
he
a
was
baby.
kid. Yeah, they
Yeah.
stole him as a baby, I guess, right?
not really stolen. He was given to
He
him.
traded like a Pokemon card.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it's just the angelic nature of this cute little girl versus Maul and his red and his tattoos or whatever that make it like you said, right? A very challenging episode, because the first half of it is sort of they're having fun, they're goofing off, they're being friends and pals or whatever, and then yeah, she goes into that cave and tells them, I'm right behind you, but stays for her challenge, her whatever she going, and things did get very you said it turned into a horror movie kind of thing, whatever, the screeching, all of that went into this one was was exactly what it was. It was not warm and fuzzy at the end, and
Yeah.
I kind of remember the ending where she went off with somebody, but I didn't remember it that way. I need to go back and rewatch that one for sure.
Yeah, because her necklace starts pulsing, and then like the ship comes down from the sky, and it's kind of like the ship from like the alien from Nope type of thing. That ship from there.
I do remember her saying something, or something about this was a test. Was it all in your mind? Well, it was what it needed to be for you, kind of thing. I guess that's why I thought it was.
To me, it was almost like she puts her on this planet, maybe even unknowingly, puts her on this planet to make her struggle. And is she willing? What is length she willing to go to overcome her fear and gain power, type of thing, and subvert others? Where she gets along with her friends perfectly fine, And if she would have cowered away and ran out of the cave, never to the return, I'm sure the Sith Mother would have never came down. But she showed she was strong by going in there. She used the Force. She grabbed a saber and killed this the witch, the ghost. So, and that was really cool. So, like, she's climbing up the rocks and she uses the Force and smashes him with a rock. And she smashed it with a rock. And then she picks up the saber and it goes to the outside type of thing where I'm like, wow, this is definitely kind of dark. She killed that woman for sure.
Well, yeah, she got hit in the arm with the real what's in your mind versus what's real, whatever. She definitely took a hit in the arm, and then she walks. She had the.
You think she
saber
put her there on that planet, or you think she approached her on that planet?
Well, she had a necklace, and that necklace.
Yeah, but she could have like been there already and approached this kid and be like, "Hey, do you want to leave? Like, you got to take my test, and then we can get out of here."
Remember the necklace? She talked to the necklace the whole time, and then the mother.
She could have just gave it to her like maybe like a month before or something like that. Like that kid grew up there on that planet.
Well,
I don't think she dropped.
She
I don't think
definitely
she dropped her there because I feel like she knew those kids for like a while. Like those were her friends that she grew up with, which makes it even worse that she turned her back on them. But
her friends, but she could have been there. The Sith Mother could have dropped her off years ago, type of thing. But again, that's just fan theory. There's really no explanation on why she's there, where their parents are, and stuff like that. So, but that's the thing where you can just build off any one of these stories, and you can write your own fanfic and choose what you can and what story means the most to you. Was their family slaughtered in a factory incident? Did they lose them? Are they literally traded amongst stars type things? So any one of these can be expanded countless ways into one own person's meaning for like life and the story, and that's what's great about all these. It's all open. So in the stars is Screecher's Reach. Yeah, so that was an excellent one. And on the next one, the third episode was In the Stars. This was
the third one was In the Stars.
Yeah, this was the main focus just in the trailer, because this one had the most appearances by one of the characters. Because this is that little girl that was always saying, "We will find a way to fight them." We will fight them from, I believe it was South Africa, is where this one was made, if I'm mistaken.
Chile.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's Chile. So, but yeah, this one was pretty good. It was two sisters where the Empire was polluting the entire planet. Their family was dead. They claim they're one of the last few, but I'm sure anybody would say that. And like a planet mostly wiped out. And they just kind of have to overcome the Empire and prove. And again, it's the little people that make a big difference. It's just them two fighting together. And it's the classic story of, and this happens quite a few times where in this series, where kids just run off and do this random stuff and don't listen to their parents or siblings, whatever it may be. And, this kid, you could see that she has some connection to the Force. And I loved that connection where they would paint on the rocks. They needed water to do it, but the Empire was polluting the water. So this was a very interesting style, too. The way they drew these characters, nice and alien looking, finally. So
was it drawn or was it stop motion?
It looked like it was stop motion.
There was only one stop motion. That was the Wallace and Gromit.
The Wallace and Gromit one. So this was drawn. That one was drawn.
Or CGI'd.
But or CGI'd, or yeah, whatever. It was animated to look stop motion-y.
Yes, they definitely. This one and
they just changed the frame rates to like make it look like they do on the Spider-Man movies. Kind of do that too. Is
that what it is? Anyway, whatever the technique is, it's effective because this had that. I just remember it had that a lot going on. In the frame, and stuff would be out of focus, fuzzy.
It's like the Lego movies when they make them look like they're like moving, but they're not really. It's just all computerized. Yeah. No, this one it looked cool. Yeah, this one is the one they showed a lot in the trailer. For it, and I remember watching on the panel for Celebration. I think the creator said that it's based on some real event that happened in Chile back in a long time ago. So yeah, I mean, not the Force stuff.
Well, like you say, we watch enough of these. The formulaic aspect, the we've seen it before aspect of a kid's not listening or a kid's with an idealistic vision going off, and that's what the world needs, is that idealistic vision to get us out of climate change or all these things, to not listen to those of us that say it's not going to work, or you're going to get hurt, it's dangerous and all that sort of stuff, to force it, because then it forces the sister to either find out she is they push her off and she's force sensitive, or whatever, she grabs her they grab each other. The young one grabs the old. Somebody's force sensitive and all. At
Like
the
she
end of all
knew
of this.
she knew she had it, but she just lost hope and didn't even
Yeah,
bother.
the little one was trying because right, that's how she starts. The little one tries to force the TIE fighter to do something, and the big sister comes and rescues her. She's like, "Oh, I almost had him," and she's like, "No, it almost had you," or something like that. But yeah, it's a great use of the force and the force that's within somebody. They just have to focus, have to find it.
Yeah, I like the whole thing with they becoming the stars. They can see their parents.
Yeah.
Was the
Oh yeah, that was they were the Twin Spire mountainy thing or
Mhm.
whatever, and the clouds parted because they stopped polluting or something like
Yeah.
that. You could see them back in the stars. Yeah, that had a very Chile. It had that back in the day, right? They looked at the stars. I often wonder what that looked like. Nowadays, you can't look at the sky. Ricky Kenny's in Arizona; he might be able to, right? I've got such metropolitan area, whatever, that the sky and all the light, the city light is takes away how much we can truly see in the stars. You think back in the day before we were built up in a built up society or whatever, that's why they looked at the stars and created the constellations and had stories in the stars, because the sky had to be magical with how much they could see up there, and to have a story like this where they see their parents in the they think of this star as their parents or something like that. Yeah, I can see how this story does exist from what somebody was saying was taken from a real world a bit of events or some story that's been passed down generation to generation, standing up against oppressors or standing up against something and believing in family.
There was definitely that bent there, that anti-colonialist bent. I
yeah,
see
right.
that.
Yeah.
Very much so.
And that's what I love about all these episodes. They can have, on the surface, they just seem like neat, fun little Star Wars episodes that kids may not catch. But there's so much of these backstories when you watch, and I definitely suggest it. It's been a month now since I watched all the creator content videos, but these people that
watched it.
these stories, oh yeah, they're fantastic. They all came out. They lived these stories, and they have certain meanings to them. And like Marie said, the colonialism is a big thing. I mean, so it's
Yeah,
this one and the
it's
pit
kind of a
were
big
like
issue
the
for
two.
Latin Americans.
Yeah, and that's what I was. Thank you, Murray. That's what I was trying to say. That right, it had that type of story, right? And that telling of the colonialism that was a thing for them, that I'm sure is a part of their stories, or whatever. Brian, I totally missed that. So yeah, I have some content to take in. That they did the behind the scenes thing, or the creators. How did you get to this point? Sort of stuff is on Disney Plus. I totally missed that. Is
it on the extras part?
Yeah, each episode has its own focus too. It's not like where they combined everything into like a 30-minute special. No, it's each episode.
Each one? Oh, sweet. All right, yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that.
Yeah. Thanks. Missed that.
Some of them they talk about the art, like the Wallace and Gromit one or whatever. They talk about the art, the style, and it's fantastic to see how they do it. And that's when that's the only time I realized that Au Song and Into the Stars weren't stop motion. Only one was stop motion. The other ones were designed to look stop motion, because the studio, it's hard to do. I mean, that is an art form now.
Oh yeah, right. It's a lot of effort to do Wallace and Gromit. Legit.
It took them a year to do I Am Your Mother type of thing. And I'm like, wow. Like,
yeah, no doubt.
And so far out. We have no idea when they're out, they're a year or two ahead of us talking to people. They're throwing around ideas, because it takes a long time to create this stuff. Little studios that are probably the size of like someone's house are building these entire episodes, a dream of theirs. And it's,
I'm going to speculate, right? Did they go to the Wallace Gromit group for the first visions and say, we'd love to have you do one? They're like, yeah, we can't in that time frame. But if you do a second season, right, that they had to approach
Or they did, and they started doing it from back then.
Approach them very, very early on type of thing, because it's such lead time for that.
Yeah, get back to us and we'll pencil you in.
Yeah, I'd like to know that backstory.
So, and speaking of the Wallace and Gromit creators, the next episode, the 4th episode, is I Am Your Mother. So, I mean, there's really no explanation needed for this one. It's just the Wallace and Gromit episode.
Yeah, we need to give them respect or whatever. What is it? We got to find out what the house, what the group is or whatever. Obviously, they're going to be always known as the Wallace and Gromit.
It's Aardman, right?
It's Aardman, yeah.
Is that the actual name? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, before you go on it, I thought when they announced Visions in the first place, before season 1 and that kind of stuff, I thought they said, well, the memo that these teams are given is you can do whatever you like, but you can't use existing characters, sort of stuff. And yet in this one, we've got Wedge Why?
Yeah, Wedge
Shot
isn't.
front and center. It's like, what's Wedge doing here? This is not supposed to be. It's all supposed to be not using.
Well, no, they
existing
used Boba
characters.
Fett in the first season, so
Did they?
and
Really?
They
remember
use who?
Boba Fett in the first season. He was dancing
Oh yeah,
on
they
the
did. They
Yeah,
did.
yeah. So
the live aid one.
maybe the story can't. You know, we're speculating. So, but
No,
yeah, the story can't be the main character. They can be in it like a Wedge,
Yeah, they can be in it.
a Boba Fett
Right.
sort of cameo-ish, but it can't be a story about them.
I mean,
Do you guys
And that
remember?
actually cracked me up because if you listen
Yeah.
through the credits, he's still going on about the Wedge themed merchandise.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, at the
It was great.
it was funny because this one, when we saw it on the trailer, we were speculating how they were gonna do lightsabers in stop motion, and they didn't. There was
Yeah,
no
this one was
lightsabers.
not lightsabers.
Yeah, but then they did ships and they did ship engines and other sort of
Lighting.
Yeah.
she was working on droids or working on the ship or something. She had like a welder or so there were other things that were like, wow, you know, how do they that's what I want to know. Is that legit? Do they do anything in post? Do they add any of that kind of stuff in post,
Like
or
the
is it
lighting
all
and stuff.
legit
Well, I mean, even the lighting's
droids?
so it's I don't know. I mean, unless it's just lighten and darken, I don't know if they do anything.
So the Wookiee, when we got said what actually happens, the Wookiee in this one, it reminds me of much that meme or whatever it is that somebody made up. But you just hear Chewie just go "Rah!" throughout it all. That's all the one does in this one, isn't it? He just goes "Rah!" randomly, and I thought this just so reminded me of that.
Just swear, whatever it is.
Yeah. Okay.
I like the little dog, the little droid that they.
The R2 droid that turned into a dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the story. I mean, it's cute. It's very formulaic. You knew where it was going. The embarrassment by the mom and all that, but comes in and shows them what for, and shows she still got it and all that. It was just a very much a stark contrast to Screecher's Reach in terms of this one did kind of end in a warm and fuzzy, all tied up in a bow, if I recall correct. You know, she won the race and just all that. So he wasn't supposed to be there with her trash heap or her whatever they call the shit. You know, the bully girl calling the ship
the porta potty.
the porta potty. Yeah, that's what it was. Calling it a porta potty. And she's embarrassed by it. Mom shows up and underwear or the dirty laundry still.
I did it, but the OCD in me did appreciate when all that laundry and stuff fell out that the kid went around and picked everything up and put it back. I'm like, usually like stuff like that happens and they just leave it there, but like the fact they picked it up, that made me feel good inside. They didn't leave a mess. She was trying to pick up all the embarrassing.
The stereotypical Minerva type of bully girl and burly mom with the stark black hair. You know, just there's design tropes that we learned
like the newer one
as kids.
Yeah, like the mom with the same haircut as the daughter and all that stuff, and they're like, yeah,
there's just things that are that are just a part of visual storytelling that I don't know, we've just all grown up with over the years. I don't know, it's I guess like chords are harmonious and sound good, and sour notes are sour notes, you just learn them, they just are type of thing. That bad guy or bad bully types, the mom and the daughter look the same, you know, just all those tropes were a part of this that was appreciated. I enjoyed this one. I found myself enjoying this one a lot for whatever reason. I guess because it gets to the art, the Wallace and Gromit aspect of what they did with actual physical stop motion-y things to get me engaged, and again a good full background of things to look at, and a good fun story.
Well, I love everything like Chicken Run and Wallace and Gromit. And, Sheep. I love all their stuff. Like, it's good.
It's just great. Once you realize it's stop motion, I mean, that's what they do. It's crazy what they can do. Like when R2 Slinky Dog, where he like shot up and fell off. I'm like, this is all done by hand, millimeter by millimeter, or picking up the clothes, all that stuff. It's so amazing. And I like that they had the Ryloth role in this. So, which I seen, the Ryloth role, which was in Rebels type of thing. I seen Sedula do that.
Yeah.
Definitely the most fun episode. So
it was one to show. Make sure you show the nephews, the kids, kind of thing, or whatever. To just, hey, here's a fun little Star Wars story. I've recognized ships characters, that kind of stuff. Yeah, definitely one for them.
Especially after a couple
And
of
the wedge
depressing
themed
Sith ones.
merchandise.
Oh yes, and I got to go back and follow the
Wedge is
credits.
funny.
The wedge
He's
theme,
like, have you seen my book?
wedge themed merchandise. Bring it on.
So the next one, episode 5, is Journey to the Dark Head, which is my personal favorite because again, I'm watching this for anime Star Wars. So this was the one where it was the Jedi apprentice lost their master at the beginning in a really cool battle, and then there's this other girl on this planet with 2 huge statues that, like, when it rains, they think it leads to images of the future, and they're almost like monks type of thing. And it jumps ahead a couple years, and the girl wants to destroy the statues because she think they're causing the problems that everyone is seeing. And much like how Anakin tried to overcome these visions, just ended up creating the visions. She was getting visions from these stones, and she goes to stop the visions, and she creates the visions.
Do you think she was trying to create? I thought she was just trying to get rid of the dark side.
Yeah,
to get rid of that one.
Yeah, that was her intent. She's like, well, this one
okay,
is
not both of them. You had said she was trying to get rid of both of them. I thought thought she'd get rid of the one.
Yeah,
the
it
dark
was.
head. Yeah.
Okay. The dark
was
side.
The one.
So, and then in the end, the heads actually they actually switch colors, the red and blue, and that's like a deeper meaning too, to say that there's always a balance and they exist together. You can't just get rid of one,
right?
Because
that's what I took away too.
Colors just kind of switch around, and it's like, no, this is the balance. These are always here together. If you get rid of one, it may unbalance the rest of it, type of thing. So, but this was what I was looking for in these Visions episode, and it was awesome, type of thing, where the animation was great. It was anime. It was big battle. It had a really cool designed Sith with the flowing robe over his face. And it had like a chain whip and all this stuff. It had death and consequences. It had, and I'm starting to realize this in a lot of stories with Jedi apprentices, the teenager ones, like when Obi-Wan is a teenager, he has a lot of good books. Like Padawan was one of my favorite of the year. And it's just overcoming their fears. Or in High Republic, they have all these fears. They're becoming adults. They have these feelings towards other people. They're not sure where their place in the universe is. And I love to see, and me with a teenager who just graduated 2 days ago from high school, it's crazy to see them go into these life steps. And it's just so touching that he's mad and he's angry and he's afraid. He may not be able to do it, type of thing. But then he's got to save his friends. He's got to stop, evil type of stuff. And it just becomes more into himself. And it's a great visually, great fights, great story. So I loved Journey to the Dark Head.
Likewise, I enjoyed the heck out of it right up until it had the Yoko Ono soundtrack during their fight. Oh, you thought Screecher Reach was annoying. There is a part of that fight where it's just got this fingernails on a chalkboard screeching of sorts that
yeah.
Just like, oh, why did you go pick something else, anything else? I get what you're going for, that battle and that fight between those.
Any other sound but that.
Any other sound. It was very much fingernails on a chalkboard, but I agree. The story in this one, and I just remember they went somewhere, isn't this the one they go somewhere and they buy bombs and a parachute or something?
Yeah.
And the dealer's like, what are you getting into? Or there was some funny line. Yeah, what are you doing? I can sell you all kinds of stuff. You guys got something weird going on here. Yeah, this was, like you say, the heads changing colors and them and I think it was the girl, right? She realizes, wait, they are intertwined. There is this one spoke, I think, a lot to the balance. To me, when we hear about the balance in the Force, it's not equal parts light, equal parts dark. It's that you have to find balance within yourself, that we all have darkness within us, but you've got to find balance so that isn't what drives you, that you find balance and then you choose to do the light side of the Force, the good things in life, if you will, that we're all inherently evil, but we choose to be good and choose to not follow the dark path forever. Will that consume you? That's the easy path. Well, all of that is real allegory in this, in the greatness that is Star Wars storytelling. And this one, I think, really kind of helped to visualize that, like you said, right, where the two heads that were very clearly differentiated, then all of a sudden this battle's taking place above them or whatever, and it kind of flowed or kind of showed the different colors mixing or whatever was going on there. Yeah, this one was a good one too from a story standpoint for sure.
Yeah, I would have probably given it a perfect score if it wasn't for that music, because right away it
Okay,
took
so you
me
picked it up too? Yeah, all right.
right
Yeah.
away. I'm for big anime battles. Like, there's a boxing one that's slipping my mind at the moment. Like, and I don't want to say the wrong one, but there's this, and it's just amazing soundtracks and stuff. And that's what I wanted. And it was just like, geek, 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 geek. And I was like, what the crap is going on, dude? Like, this is horrible. So that did take me out of it. So that knocked it well down. Like, I think Vision season 1 had better episodes than this, but if it wasn't for that music, this would have been top seed.
All right, that's good to hear because I thought that might be me being like super critical and nitpicking or whatever. But there's a couple other voices chiming in too that they heard that screechingness of soundtrack during the fight that was off-putting.
The camera angles were amazing. If they would just replace the music, it's what they wanted, so it's fine what the creator did. But if they just replace it with like this epic style fight, I've watched My Hero Academia and stuff, and they have always these big battles that almost bring like tears to your eyes and this swelling music, and it's just a cat walking across a piano, and I'm like, oh, come on. What are you?
Yeah, try you're a fantastic visual artist, but yeah, the audio part or whatever is obviously not someone's forte.
Yeah, so but overall great visual episode. A lot of battles, which is what I want in Star Wars. I want anime battles, and this gave it to me. So the next one is the Spy Dancer. So this is the one, as I mentioned earlier, there's another episode that I was starting to, not focus as much. And I got to the end and I just thought this had a really good twist story to it. So this is where all kind of the Empire goes to this one club and they're entertained. They take their helmets off, they relax, type of thing. Well, the performers there are kind of rebels and they're sick of the empires and they're gathering information, type of thing. They're feeding it to other people. And it looked pretty good. It's definitely a different art style. But the way she danced and moved was really cool. I liked that it became a rebel spy story all of a sudden. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But the big twist at the end where she lost her child and this general that she's been dealing with during the entire episode, like cut his horns off to fit in with this evil empire. And again, that's it can have all sorts of deeper meanings that anybody chooses to have, whether it be you change your religion to hide from a military that happened, during or dyed your hair,
he hit his eyes.
Yeah, you swallow your gold, whatever it is, you get rid of everything that's you to be part of something that's not you. And he ended up joining not the dark side, the Empire, but he was also kind of brainwashed from a young age because remember the First Order making kids also. So it had a really nice twist in it. I like family interactions and sad stories, and this wasn't a high five, everyone's cool at the end type stuff. So it was I lost my child, they were taken, I tried to reconnect with them, and they denied me type of stuff. And I was just like, oh, it's a very touching episode that surprised me by the end.
But the end he had doubt, so I mean, you kind of
you could kind of see it in his expression.
Yeah, so you don't know what he's gonna do later on. He could defect.
He had a locket or whatever that had a picture of him that he
is a baby, yeah.
That he was looking, that he sort of realizes, that what might or not what might have been, but just like you said, he has that doubt. Is now it's placed in there by it. This one I probably have the most familiarity with. So I watched the Visions, and whatever night they dropped or whatever, and I didn't think I had watched them all. I thought I had fallen asleep during the last ones or whatever. So I went back to watch Visions. I'm like, which one did I stop? This one doesn't look familiar at all. So I started here. So this one actually kind of got two watches of it. Because I thought that's where I kind of dozed off or fell asleep or whatever to watch again. But then as I'm watching it, I'm like, no, I do remember seeing this one because I remember this one had the Matrix. She's not going to make it type of. I think it's the Matrix where the one jumps from the helicopter and somebody's. I think that's right. Morpheus and Neo, right? He's jumping out of the window of the building. Morpheus or Neo's like he's not going to make it, and he jumps out the helicopter and grabs him in midair. There was a very neat thing I think between the mother and the daughter or somebody, and you talked about the flowing the visual aspect of it and the flowing robes and the flowing pieces of whatever was in there that was artistic. And the other my takeaway was the one ship the rebels had or something was like kit bashed, and it had TIE fighter wings. It had like 4 TIE wings that were, and the TIE fighter wings back in the day anyway, the TIE fighter wings were solar panels, and that's how it got its energy or whatever. And I thought that was a cool design for a ship, whether it was actually designed that way or the rebels engineered something and put something together that it had those 4 TIE wings as its wings, wing design. So yeah, that one was fun.
Yeah, so that one's good. A nice surprise ending. So anybody else have anything on the Spy Dancer? Good surprise, good art show.
Yeah, good surprise. I agree. Good like you say, that family story.
And that just kind of proves that I'm watching for more animation style in fights. It shows you how strong a story could be, where you set your phone down and you watch, and you're just like, wow, this is going somewhere. So that's what I do. That just shows how good the studio is. They can bring you back from it just seems like a normal episode to, hey, there's a big deep meaning in this, and there's a lot of tragedy, and I'm just like, okay, I wasn't too much into it, but you definitely got my interest. So big congrats on that one. So the next one, episode 7, was the Bandits of Gallic. I'm going to pronounce it Gallic. So this was again another story of 2 siblings, right? Yeah, 2 siblings. And they're pretty much just on the run and hiding, and they find a Jedi survivor of Order 66, and an Inquisitor is hunting them, type of thing, because they use, again, this is where the kid isn't listening to the older sibling.
Oh, yeah. He's like, just sit there and be quiet.
Yeah, they use.
Yeah, she does, but she grabs the flute with the Force.
Yeah,
and everybody on the train sees it.
And that gets the
Sit
attention.
there, be quiet, don't touch anything.
Well, what I hate, and this is a trope of all this story. They always tell him that, but they never tell him the why. Just if you would tell the person the why, because if somebody sees you do that kind of thing, we're going to get caught. No, then they would be like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't want to do that. But they always just say, sit down, shut up, do as I say, kind of thing, and be quiet. And the kids or somebody always goes against it and exposes themselves or exposes, it just draws attention to them or whatever. But yeah, this one was, I appreciated this one because of the Eastern. I mean, a very much an Eastern story. We talked about how that other one, the Colonials, just the designs, the locales, even the bad guy, the Inquisitor, had that mustachioed sort of look of what an Eastern storytelling bad guy looks like. Oh, I just appreciated that.
It was like Bollywood through and through. I mean,
yes.
The only thing that was missing was the music.
Yeah, and a dance number or something, right?
Yeah, I expected the dance number to break out at any minute, but at the same time, it was visually stunning. It was beautiful. Like the animation was very textured. Like you could and actually tactile. Like I felt like you could reach out and touch the little girl's veil, and you would feel what it felt like.
Yeah, you could always feel like what they were wearing was like a crushed velvet or crushed velour. Yeah, there was a lot of texture in the. In what the visual,
yeah,
the story was.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I was excited honestly for any of the Eastern world fans of Star Wars or whatever that they had something that sort of I don't know, it's theirs, it's all of ours and everything, whatever. But there was a story that had that Bollywood slant to it, that had that Eastern slant to it. I really liked that. Really found myself liking the heck out of that for whatever reason. And then the kid going off and finding I did like, right, she uses the Force to get the flute and they think she's using the Force when the bad guy shows up, but she's like, I'm not doing it, it's
not me, it's not me.
And then the grandma or the elder statesman or whatever of the village or something was like, you shouldn't be here, and has the challenge with the Inquisitor, with the bad guy. Oh yeah, good. That was good, fun, entertaining.
The Watergate thing, right? She went.
Yeah, that was cool too, right? Nice place to hide something.
Like that underground passage, it was great. That was definitely my favorite one. It was, the animation in it was stunning. Like it was so colorful.
Well, this was
the shot when they walk up to like the little city thing and you have the string of lights hang. I'm like, that looked like so like cool, like the way visually, like the colors. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, it was very colorful, very very Indian in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Very and I almost felt like I could like I said, reach out and touch everything. or like taste the food, that purple corn
Yeah.
that was on the plates, or whatever it was. It was just kind of like, wow, this is like an entire experience almost.
Yeah, they did really good of doing the world building in this one and the
Yeah,
sort of
this one was
environment. Yeah.
particularly great. It was like a little mini Bollywood film, and I loved it. It had that like little element of like the train heist, although it wasn't really a
Yeah.
train heist.
Yeah, right, you said it. The world building aspect. As cool as the Sith character design was in that first one in the Sith and the animated, I really found the bad guy's character design in this. I don't know what
Oh, he
caught me
was like
about him.
full on Count Dooku villain guy in this one.
Inquisitor and that Indian bad guy look,
Yeah.
and the way his mannerisms, the way he came up and did that Inquisitor, sort of monologuing or dialoguing and talking to you type of thing. It was just so well done, very very well done. Kudos to this group.
The next one, episode 8, is The Pit. This is the one, and again, there's a lot of deep meaning they can have from this too, where it's Empire enslaves people. They have them build a pit and just keep digging straight down. The materials, the crystals, the kyber crystals and stuff that they find in here are used to build an entire city. So you see this time jump as they're digging, where the hole gets bigger, the city gets bigger.
They get deeper and deeper.
Yeah, they get deeper, the city gets higher and higher type of thing. And to enough to where, well, okay, we finally finished out of materials and we're done with you. And then they leave them to die in the pits. And one character which I loved, was voiced by Daveed Diggs, Thomas Jefferson.
Yes.
I was like, man, is that Thomas Jefferson? I kept listening to it. That guy's really
wait, clue me in. What are you talking about?
From Hamilton, right?
Hamilton.
Okay.
Oh yeah, my wife watched that for every day for a month straight, so I'm aware too.
I've still never seen
and
it.
His voice is very distinctive. So yeah,
Okay. That's why you're geeking
right
out.
away. I mean, I knew this going in. I knew that he was one of the voices in this one, but I knew instantly which character he was.
I had zero idea, that they used him at all. So I was just sitting there listening, and it's like, I think that's Thomas Jefferson type of thing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Daveed Diggs. That's amazing. And then it had this of where he gets to the city, asks for help, and he's pretty much dragged away and then killed. He's tossed back into the pit to his death type of thing.
Yes.
Wow. That was an interesting take on this character, this younger character where he climbs out, he sacrifices himself, he tries to get everyone's attention. They barely take any focus to him, and he's tossed off, and then everyone starts chanting, like, follow the light. It gets the city's attention, and then the people see what their city, it's built on blood and bones and stuff like that, and the work of others, and then they kind of free all these people. So there's a lot of deep meaning with that. Not to keep grilling on Steven here, but more colonialism, where you just can't.
Hey, it's not my fault. No, Martin, I haven't just seen the
6
last
degrees of separation.
Yeah, I haven't just seen the last 2 episodes just yesterday. I actually remember about this one. I thought it was it reminded me a little bit of like something like having watched the Small Light program instead. Something like the Nazis would try to get you to do, just to dig a pit for no particular reason other than just because they can. But obviously they were extracting the kyber crystals. I was a little bit surprised they were doing it just to build. That missed me at the time. They were doing it just to build a city. I thought they were doing it to build a weapon, which is normally what one nicks kyber crystals for. But yeah, you're right. They were creating that city on the edge and stuff. It just it didn't seem very imperial thing to get a whole group of people to dig a pit, kyber crystals to build a city. It didn't seem like an imperial thing to do. It seemed like
what they did in Andor. They used a group of prisoners to build. You just build a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Ultimately, but they use it to build a city, and it's, hey, we want to build a city here. We need cheap labor. Okay, we'll just use all these other people.
I suppose you're right. Yeah. And of course, I was surprised. I was semi-shocked that chap died. He went out and tried to get the attention. Definitely just threw him in the pit. I thought when he threw him in the pit, it'd be like he suddenly realised his inner force and he was saved himself before he hit the bottom. But oh no, splat.
Okay. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's what
This
I
definitely was a allegory. This one, like, heavy.
Oh, they kept that one out.
This one was like, wasn't this the guy that made this one was actually from Lucasfilm, and then he pitched it, and they said, yeah, you can go ahead and make it.
Yeah,
Like,
true.
that's pretty
Okay,
cool.
you talk about the allegory. All of the stories, right, have
they all
that,
have that aspect.
English teacher, high school English teacher could use them to show them to the kids, watch it as a short, and then write whatever it is that we had to do in English. Yeah, find the deep meaning, or tell me this or that, or what did you see of this, and just that character study and story type of stuff.
Well, even like the French one was definitely like noir, like Normandy, Nazis occupying, the spy dancer one. So like, yeah, all these ones have like historical context and allegories.
Really
I kind of wish
historical and cultural.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that little girl just spoke up a little bit sooner, and that poor chap didn't have to scale that freaking great pit wall and then get thrown back in it and die. They should just come up with the idea of singing in the first place and shouting that.
Well, I think him
then they wouldn't
being
have known
in town also
about.
saying, I think him being in town saying, hey, we're all out there, would kind of helped in conjunction with them all singing or say follow the light or whatever they were saying.
What was outside of their city?
That's true.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of that story of Horton Hears a Who.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
A little bit. It is a little Horton Hears a Who. Yeah, sure.
Nobody believes them and stuff like that, but then they go to.
Yeah.
Not seen that.
What? It was on a dandelion.
Not seen it. It's a book.
It's a book.
At least I've read that book.
I've
got one on it.
Cartoon though.
Yeah, they did a cartoon movie.
They show it a lot with the Chuck Jones, How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Oh, I don't like that film. I don't think I've really seen it. No, it scares the crap out of me.
The Grinch?
Yeah. Don't like that. No, sorry. Remember, I don't like the Muppets.
He doesn't like the Muppets either.
No.
Oh, that's right. He doesn't like the Muppets. You don't like the Grinch. Well, this one isn't you don't have to watch the Grinch to watch that one. It's a little Dr. C style elephant. Anyway.
We got one last vision.
Yep.
The last one is Au's song. So this was the kid. She hears the crystals kind of singing to her. Her and her dad are on a planet. She likes to ignore her dad, as is with the story with this entire season. That this entire planet is polluted, type of thing. They've turned an entire planet full of crystals into dark side. So they bled pretty much the entire planet with crystals. So they mine like one at a time, give them to the Jedi, and the Jedi purify them. And this girl realizes she can connect with the crystals and you turn them good pretty much and put an entire planet out of work. So great job, little girl, by not listening to it.
This was my favorite one. I love this one. I love the soundtrack. I love the visuals. It was, I loved it. This one was cool.
Yeah. This is among my top favorites. It wasn't my favorite. That was obviously the one with the train job, but this was one of my tops.
Yeah, I like maybe because it's a dad and a daughter story, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. But yeah, he should just let her do it. But he's like, no, stop.
No, she put an entire planet out of work. That's why he didn't want her to do it.
I guess they can still mine them, I guess, but yeah.
And then they had her mouth covered because they didn't want her to sing. Like, that was sad.
Yeah.
So she went into the cave. So Dad goes off to work. She goes in, sneaks in the back passage. There's loads of Sith kyber crystals everywhere. Dad says, "Oh, you shouldn't be here." Rushes her out. And then the place blows up or goes Sith Nova. And I miss a bit on that. What was going on? What's going on there? I said it very simplistic there, but I kind of lost a little bit of the plot on that one. But then she started singing, and it must be something I was just inbuilt in my mind. Probably not having children still, but the thought of a young girl singing like that just put my finger in my ears.
They never showed like what like how they purify the crystal. It's basically you calm the crystal to turn it back, so that way it doesn't explode. So I guess whatever you soothe it with her singing. So.
Essentially, her being there unsettled the whole area and put everybody in danger.
Well, it's like when she wasn't able to finish singing. Yeah, they're just like, "Oh, I'm calm." It's almost like you go to get in a nice warm bath and then someone dumps cold water on you, and you type of thing. So
it's like to undo a mine, you gotta like step on the mine and then take the pin. It's that.
I like the idea of her singing, purifying.
That
crystal stuff. was kind of wondering how these people weren't corrupted by the Sith. Because that's what I was thinking to start off with. I thought, well, there's some corruption going on here by the Sith, and or the Sith kyber crystals are leaking and making people do evil things and stuff. There wasn't none of that.
Well, they weren't force sensitive. I think the little girl was the only one that was.
Yeah, but then didn't we have it in the book with Shadows of the Sith, where there was that kyber crystal thing, wasn't there? That sort of leached from the mine and stuff and corrupted. Well, it had a spirit in it, didn't it? It had a Sith spirit.
It was like artifacts.
It was the shards of it. Yeah, they were digging for it or whatever in that book, and they found the shards of it, and that sang to somebody or it spoke out to somebody.
Yeah, it made one of those mine workers sort of could become that. He's taken over, didn't he, or something? Great book, by the way, folks. So yeah, I was kind of that's what just made me think. Well, obviously this is a vision, so they don't have to follow any of the canon stuff on this thing. So, but I was kind of surprised that there wasn't any kind of manipulation going on by the Sith kyber crystals.
This one had the most.
Sith Lord that did it was eliminated already. You know,
as esoteric. Word. This one wasn't so straightforward as all the other ones, right? This one was a bit more abstract in its story.
Kind of, yeah. It was a little vague. It was more of just the relationship between the dad, the daughter, and then letting her express herself and be who she was to save the day, type of deal.
No, you're right. Actually, we're going back. You're saying those kyber crystals have already been corrupted, haven't they?
Yeah. Well, what happened to the Sith Lord? That Jedi
and there were scads of them, right? We kind of learned in more canon type of thing. That's where you say it's a bit vision aspect and taken. But yeah, there were crystals are supposed to be hard to find, and she's in a cave surrounded by them like crazy.
Well, in the last one, they dug a pit and made a whole city out of kyber crystals.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Like Minecraft, like you find find diamonds and just keep following the chain. Yeah.
I was thinking when I was watching, a bit like you said earlier, Ricky. That I was thinking that is this just like an excuse for people to have their Sith fantasies for these? Everybody's writing something about Sith.
Yeah, they were pretty Sith heavy.
There's not a Sith heavy in these visions. But I mean, behind you, I would do the same probably if I was.
Well, I mean, that's why the logo is red, maybe. The 2 is written in red.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I remember watching it, I was thinking, is any of these ones going to be it's not going to feature a lightsaber? And
it was the Ardman one.
Yeah, it was one. That's pretty dumb.
Yeah, they did a pod race.
Just trying to think which one was my favourite. I mean, I'm a bit on these visions things. I'm just trying to think which one was my favourite. Maybe I'll pick a favourite. I'll see if
Is there one that had cake in it?
Is there one that had cake in it? That's a good point. Yes. I really did like the first two, which are very Sith.
The Bandits of Golak, because that had sweets. It had those weird lollipops.
Oh, yeah,
that's going to be your favorite.
Yeah.
You like a good sweet.
That is true. I'm just trying to think which one. I'm still trying to think which one. I think I Am Your Mother might be up there because it's just a bit different.
You have to. You have to pick the British one.
The
You
British
have to
one.
pick the British one. You're like honor bound to pick that one.
Yeah, no particular reason, but they had nice bottles of water there.
He's going for the home team.
Well, so that was Visions too. Oh, it was not. People complain about the moon, Solo, the movie no one asked for, Andor, things no one asked for. Visions, not a thing I asked for, but boy, I'm glad I have them.
Yeah.
It's great having like a variety of
gorgeous
stuff to watch.
Yeah, I'm glad they're not necessarily canon adjacent, or just some stories that you take with so that we don't have to try to factor them all in the way we like to do or whatever, but just to be entertained by something in the Star Wars universe such as these and the gorgeousness. Ryan said it that we were going to say that about all the episodes, and I think that's very true of this season, that they were all stunning visually.
Yeah, and I love that Au's song was digitally made to look like it was like cotton figures, like they added fuzz on there type of thing, because this was digitally too. This wasn't stop motion or anything, and I love that little touch to make it feel more realistic.
Yeah. I love the song when she's walking and the little. I love the soundtrack for this one. I immediately went and looked for it.
It was really cute, and again, because everything reminds me of something else, this one reminded me of like the Rankin Bass specials, like the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and all of that.
Oh yeah.
So how would you rate it compared to season 1 then?
Oh, I loved it way more than season 1.
I
This
liked
one
it
did-
way more than season 1.
This one didn't have the twins.
It didn't have Joseph Gordon-Levitt singing horrible rock music.
I enjoyed.
Yeah.
I must say, I enjoyed
Yeah.
the first season more.
We got a sound bite out of the first season. I don't think we had one out of this one, do we?
That's true.
Not
Have to
yet.
go back and listen. Yeah, I have to try to find something. So yeah.
I'll do this. I'll do that music, Ron, that you guys loved from the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the screechy music. No thanks.
Yeah.
Or I'll just do the screeching.
Turn
from
off
Screech's
listeners.
Reach.
The
All right, so
banshee
we got
screams.
a 40th anniversary to extol, yeah.
Yes, Ryan, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to a true original.
Touche.
And my wife did get me a book that was the most popular things that happened in 1983, and at the very front cover, it's Return of the Jedi, top grossing movie in 1983. I'm like, oh, nice.
It's almost midnight and the countdown is on here at the Esquire Theater because at 12:01 a.m. Wednesday morning, the first official showing of the Return of the Jedi rolls onto the big screen.
I don't need the particulars or whatever, but were you technically alive for Return of the Jedi?
No.
No.
It was-
No.
All right.
Yeah.
You were what,
Wait,
like
no,
8
yeah,
days old?
because if it came out May 25th,
Yeah.
And this
then
Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi is the only one I can remember seeing. Just about remember seeing in the theatre. I think it's probably the first one I saw in the theatre. At the time. I can't remember seeing any other. I remember seeing all the release special editions in the cinema.
I've still never seen any of the movies in theater of the OT.
Really?
Blasphemy!
Yeah.
How'd you not see the special editions?
I don't know.
Re-releases.
I must have not had any money, and I was like 17. Like
drugs
like,
also.
No, I just didn't.
Well,
I had posters and stuff of it, and I watched on the VHS and stuff when that came out. But yeah, didn't go to the theater.
It's bizarre. Even
I saw
Yeah.
New Hope. Well, when I was obviously I saw it first when I was 2, but the special edition I saw it at the Chinese theater. That was fun.
Oh wow!
It must have been
Yeah,
a thing where I just didn't have the money to go watch, because I watched everything on International 9 when they showed like, oh, these are the new scenes they added in. I watched all the behind the scenes stuff, but I just didn't watch it until it came on video. Yeah.
Jedi and its release back in the 83. The only thing I can really remember about the hype leading up to it, that there was a lot, and radio stations, terrestrial radio is the thing, whatever. The radio stations was doing a promotional thing, and malls were a thing, legit indoor malls with all the stores are still a thing. And the radio station was having a thing, a remote or whatever, where they'd be giving away stuff, having trivia or something like that set up in the middle of the mall, that traditional trying to gen business to the mall and bring all that. I remember getting on the local bus. I couldn't drive yet or whatever, so I'm sure I took the bus to the mall, had to transfer and do all that sort of stuff. And they were giving, I remember getting a movie poster, a Return of the Jedi movie poster, and they had bars of soap, the little different colored bars of soap that were character figures or whatever, as a giveaway.
Oh wow!
And I remember getting those and just hanging around the thing, because the radio, the DJ would only do something in between songs, or every so often they'd go to them at the remote and they were talking to people, and it was over, it was done, or the time was up, and they still had stuff to give away, and I would walk back up and like, yeah, here kid, you can have whatever you want. I was just a kid in a candy store picking up, and had I think the bars of soap were 3 in a thing, and picked up each one of the 3 different ones they had in another poster or 2, if I recall correctly. I just remember that was my big build up to it type of thing, was the hype of a radio station promotion, giving away freebies.
So in between playing like Billie Jean, like they'd go cut back to Ron. Like,
yeah.
Did you see it more than once in theater?
Did I see it in more than one theater, or see it more than once in theater?
Did you see it one time in several theaters?
I would have. I don't know if our area had multiples to have done that, but I definitely would have saw it multiple times in that theater at the mall.
I don't care.
If I recall,
have you seen it more than once? When it was, because I
did you go back right after?
Yeah. So A New Hope, I have a letter that I wrote to the fan club. I thought I was big timing because I had seen A New Hope twice.
Ooh.
I thought it was like a very, that I had seen it as something I wrote, but I never sent off or whatever. I still have it or whatever. And then definitely
You
saw.
gotta read it out. You gotta
Remember
go-
seeing Empire, and Jedi. Definitely
Should send it
remember
now.
seeing.
Though.
Yeah, no, you
And-
got to find it now. Find it for us, Ron. And
that is buried. That is buried in the original trilogy collection of stuff that is squirreled away so far deep now because all the
Hello, Mr.
modern
Lucas.
stuff
I
has
watched
gotten
your
in the
movie
way of it.
twice.
I just remember being in New Hope, being just mesmerized by to hear people say, "I've seen Star Wars 5 times. I've seen Star Wars 10 times, 15 times, whatever." It's just like, wait, what? But I was big deal having seen it twice to my friends anyway. But yeah, the things that are impressive to a kid. I did not see it a bunch of times. It's not like I saw it 20 or anything in the theaters, Ryan. I definitely saw it multiple times because I saw it myself, saw it with friends, but it wasn't a repeat view, or it wasn't a double-digit type of viewing or anything.
I can't even.
Did you grow up like in the suburbs or like in BFE? Because I mean, I lived in the suburbs, so we obviously had like we didn't have a multiplex. We had like a two theater, what do you call it, cinema type thing. But
at the time, the mall I think had 3 screens, and then there was another small theater that had 2 across on the other side of town.
Yeah, our mall.
And I think I saw it at both theaters.
We had a drive-in movie, and then but that was closed down. But I think that was closed down by the time Jedi rolled around, because I think by that time it was just the flea market. And then we had like the big old Art Deco theater that used to be 2 screens, then became 1 screen.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm just picturing you guys with like big 80s hair with like Men at Work playing in the background. You guys are walking into the theater.
I was 8, so no.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't have had the big hair.
Imagine nobody's coming out of the theatre going, "Emperor dies." As you go.
Emperor dies.
So damn it. I seem to remember watching the behind the scenes things so many times. They must have been on during the summer holidays on TV on repeat or something. But I seem to remember seeing how they did the acts getting squashed by the
Is that the one that's hosted by like Mark Hamill?
No. Hammer's not in it. And the ones with the speeder bikes and they're just literally on these little things with the things like that. I just remember seeing that a million times, the behind the scenes for that. And I didn't see it on videotape, so I must have seen it on TV during the holidays.
How did people react in the theater? Is there cheering? Is there like laughing? Are people clapping at the end?
They're like, Star Wars is ruined. No.
No, I honestly don't have any great recollection of any of that sort of thing taking place, one way or the other. I don't have any recollection of the movie going experience.
Yeah.
In and of itself.
Early 80s are crazy times.
Yeah.
There's nobody going around saying, "Bring back Kathleen Kennedy." It's a bit too early for that. But I mean, I don't remember any of that either. But you read it now, people saying that everybody really hated the Ewoks and that kind of stuff. And I don't remember any of that. They become a bit of a
remember reading stuff in the 80s saying like, they didn't like the Ewoks. And
I contend that's a construct of Clerks that is it Dante, whoever's telling the story of it, and the Ewok, and then that's. I just don't recall that being a thing where the Ewoks were hated. That was a construct of looking at it after the fact and going, wait a minute, that was a bunch of furry yahoos. They're beating on stormtrooper helmets, and that somehow takes them down. They swing on a vine and just knock them over, and the stormtrooper's out of commission. It's like, when you look at it in that vein, it's just like, how did they just didn't show us the more graphic nature of what the Ewoks did. And Stephen, you did say something, whatever, that there is a long-standing story that it's not a story, I think it's true, whatever, that Lucas thought his original plan was to make that a planet full of Wookiees, to make a Kashyyyk type of thing or whatever. Mm-hmm. But the budget was going to be out of control to create full 6'1", to create full size Wookiees. as many as they did Ewoks. Yeah, it was cheaper to cut them down to size, literally.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
I can only afford to spend half the budget, but just to cut them all in half.
You get 3 characters for the price of 1.
Free on the cuffs.
Yeah. It's cheaper to get little people than to get like really, really tall people. Also easier.
Were they all? I suppose they were there, but how many was it then? Because
Yeah, but Warwick was like a kid though. He was like.
How many
maybe,
Ewoks did we ever
Warwick
see?
was a kid, yeah. There were a bunch of them. There wasn't like CGI back then, so what we
No,
saw
I'd say it must have been. Yeah, I'm just thinking. How many Ewoks do we ever see?
was actual people in like fur suits. Thank God that it was up in Crescent City where it doesn't get that hot.
Didn't they put Kenny Baker in one of them too? Like
Yeah,
they made,
I believe so.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, he
It's
tried
super-
out. He wanted work, or wanted a kid, I think, for the sensibilities or something like that. I don't know if I know that full.
I think that
story.
Warwick
Talk
said
about
that
it.
like he took someone's place because somebody was sick or something that day, so they just threw him in the suit.
Oh, I do kind of think I've heard that story
Yeah.
too. That one of the more true actors or somebody was out partying the night before or whatever, wasn't going to have it the next day, and they had work for whatever reason. Needed kids, needed smalls or something, and there is something to that story. Wish I knew it better.
So
Yeah, I think he just said at the last celebration that I watched.
I can't recall anything about.
I remember the big
was
thing
the
was
ending
like,
of the movie. It was the ending of the story, and was just okay. Well, that was the end.
and then you finally got to see Darth Vader's
Yeah.
face. You know, that was the big thing.
Oh,
He
yeah.
finally took off.
Well,
his-
I think the big thing was the truth, because I was of the camp that Vader was lying to Luke about being his father. So we had that, the recess, the play yard, the schoolyard bets and all of that sort of stuff was true. Finally came out that no, he was telling the truth, that he was his father. That was a bit of a, not a Debbie Downer, but just a truth bomb of sorts.
And then
came
Leia was
out
his
in the
sister.
movie. But yeah, the Leia sister thing kind of then, wait, what? I again don't recall anyone carrying on about the. Everyone always says Luke kissed his sister. Luke didn't kiss his sister. His sister kissed him. But that being of any sort of concern, that took some time to look back and see how that worked. But the father, the I am your father truth bomb was revealed or came out, was probably the big thing. Oh, and the battle, obviously the battle in the Death Star 2, but them all flying in space and just having all the ships. It was visually, at the time there were so many ships on the screen that was a big. That was awesome to see, because we've seen him now, and he's regenerated the special editions to where A New Hope, that the attack on the Death Star has a full squadron, has a bunch of ships, but that wasn't true in '83. There wasn't much to have been seen or whatever. So when you look at Jedi and see all that action on screen that's happening, and much like we talked about Visions and the beauty of the art, to take that into context of what they did special effects wise in '82, to be making that movie, to release in '83 and have all those elements on the screen working, because it doesn't look cheesy, it doesn't look bad, it doesn't look anything, it looks awesome. That was another kind of takeaway, or another sort of, oh, this is beautiful, this made you love Star Wars, because that was happening on screen in 1983.
By that time, if you watched it on VHS, they didn't have as much of the matting around the ships. Like if you watched it, you would see it was cleaner.
Oh yeah.
I was able to pick up the trilogy at a flea market, the original on altar versions from the early '90s or whatever. So I don't know if I have a VCR, maybe I can look into that for you.
Oh, it took me forever to find a VCR. I have it too.
Yeah, I have the original trilogy set that I got in 1991 as a gift. 1992, I think it was, as a gift for Christmas. But I haven't played them in so long, and they were sitting in a garage for a long while, so I don't know if they even work anymore. I don't have
Ryan, be careful if you do find a VCR, get like another tape you don't care about, because I had bought a VCR from, I think it was like a Goodwill or something, popped in my episode 1 VHS and it ripped it. So
it ate it.
You definitely want to play a movie or two through it and stress all the bands and stress everything.
Yeah, if you can find the Batman on VHS, just pop that in there and
worry about your
I'd rather
tapes that were in the garage. The tapes would be stressed. The physical media would be compromised.
I remember watching this one for the first time. When I was probably on VHS. But the end when the battle with Luke and Vader, when he just goes off and he's just like hacking at him, like yes. Yeah, I thought that was like the best ending to a duel when he's just sitting there breathing. And, yeah, I thought every time that I still watch it, I just like punch my fist in the air when Luke's finally taking down Vader. I mean, it's not good that he's doing that, but still, like for hero versus villain type of thing, it was a great duel.
Going back to the thing about the Ewoks, I can speak to the fact that I was an 8-year-old girl, and they had tons and tons of like Ewok stuffed animals, and I wanted them all, so I did not have a problem with the Ewoks.
Big merchandise around the Ewoks, was there, huh?
Yeah, they were very, very, very merchandised. I mean, they had that whole cartoon show, and they made the stuffies out of them. So yeah, I had no problems with that.
What about Chewbacca's Tarzan chant?
In his 80s hairstyle.
Not a thing at all. Absolutely not.
No, we all thought it was hilarious.
I don't even know if we've even picked up on it. It's you watch it 500 times and you find things to pick on, if you will.
They do that in that one?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He does
Oh yeah,
Tarzan
him and the
yell.
Ewoks when they get on the chicken walker, the ATST. And again, it's not even a real thing. It doesn't bother anybody. They're just saying that as something to say because it's Lucas paying homage to the Tarzan yell from the 40s.
Classic
When was Tarzan out? That was a movie, and I get maybe not the 40s, the 60s. Anyway, he's throwing a little. The sound guys are throwing a little homage into a classic sound thing, whatever. You should appreciate that, not. And again, the internet's is a megaphone for negativity. That one Yahoo says, "Oh, I can't believe the Tarzan yell," and people sort of pick up that that's a thing or whatever, and it's one Yahoo said it in some post, and it's out there.
It goes back to like those classic cinema shorts that he would have watched as a child, the Flash Gordon, the Tarzan stuff, whatever else they had. We used to watch those on Saturday mornings, they had or Saturday afternoons when they had like the oldies on TV, the black and white. I used to call it like the black and white hour because they used to have all the old movies, the old Invisible Man and the 50-foot, the Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, and all of those things.
Oh, so funny. Next big question to ask though: what do people prefer in Jabba's palace? The original Napti-Neek or the Jedi Rocks? Came up in this.
I like the song, but I don't know. Watching it now, it kind of does drag a little bit, and I do like the excitement of the new version.
The original one
too. Yeah, the original one kind of drags a little bit now.
I like them both in their own way, but I still prefer.
Yeah. I'll switch off. I'll watch the original version, then I'll watch like the special edition with the new. I do like Jedi Rocks and stuff. So, but
I gotta say I haven't.
I can't say that was written by John Williams, but his son, wasn't it?
His son, yeah. If you watch the making of Return of the Jedi little featurette that came out at the time with Mark Hamill, like they actually show John Williams' son and how they came up with the music and all that stuff. If you can find it on YouTube, it's
do they? Oh, I have to watch that again. I haven't watched it in a little bit.
Yeah, I watched it like last couple years. I think it was like 2 years ago now. But yeah, it's pretty neat. But it's hosted by Mark Hamill. I think he's got 3PO and R2 with him, and
I remember that. I have to watch it.
I gotta say, I haven't seen the original version
in forever.
in a minute. I mean, I just haven't. Well, whenever the last time it existed, because the special editions came out. I own it in many different formats, or many different times. Let's say maybe not so many different formats because there's only VHS. There is the
DVD ones that came out.
Ryan, you talked about finding you'll have to comb for them, but they did release a DVD versions of the theatrical releases. I think it was a 2-pack that came with the original movie, and I'll find them in my collection and take pictures so that you know what you're looking
have
for.
those.
If you ever see them, to pick those up. The video files go, oh, but they're not an anamorphic view, or they're not 16:9, whatever the problem is, but they are, and they
look better than the
Laserdisc
VHS tape
translations, or there's, but right, that's my point. It's the same. You get the gist of what the originals look like, and they look better than the VHS tapes where the matting really stands out and is blocked out. So you definitely want to find that.
But when I put those in
sometime,
Ron, because I bought those at Circuit City when that was out around. And if you bought like A New Hope, you got like a giant lithograph book thing with it. And if you bought, for each one, so I got 3 of these big size lithographs that open and close like a little folder with the picture inside. And disc 1 is the special edition, and disc 2 is the and it's got the old artwork for the old posters on the disc 2 that has the original theatrical version. But you pop those in your Blu-ray player now. That screen's gonna be tiny, so you're gonna have to like zoom in on your TV.
The reason I even bought this, like I said, I found it at a flea market for $5, but it's just that art all around the box and all the video cases. It doesn't have the sleeve with it, but VHS obviously has a sleeve, and the art, that was it, Ralph McQuarrie or something like that. It has all of his covers on it, and it looks great. I was like, okay, this is just great original art stuff, and I love it.
That's cool. Yeah, the only thing, like, I do like the way they changed the ending with showing the different planets, but I do miss the Yub Nub.
Yeah. Also, Joseph Williams' original.
Yub Nub is the classic. But yeah, I love Lopsy Neck too. I have like playlist for Star Wars music, and that's on there. A couple different versions.
Yep.
There's like a really good one that somebody some person just made a new version of it, and it sounds great. But yeah. Either way.
I'm still mad that Lucasfilm was looking for professional dancers at the time in 1997-ish. My aunt was in town. She is a professional dancer, and she could have been in it, but, well, whatever.
I posted something in the chat. The one thing I remember from the 80s, there was a poster. I guess because you had to wait in line before you get it. You didn't order your seats. It was festival seating, so you stood in line and waited so that you could get to pick your seat in the theater and all that. And I remember somewhere this has stood out for me all this time that I go find it to post it in here. Whatever. There was a poster that explained the movie ratings. Who could go to G? Who could go to PG? PG-13 was kind of a new thing and all this. So there's this bunny rabbit that is allowed to go to G movies. Yeah. The bunny rabbit character can go to PG. He can go to PG-13, but the kid's going to put their hands over his, eyes every once in a while. Definitely not allowed to go to the R movies. The bunny rabbit's not in there. But if you look at the rated X movies, if the bunny wears glasses and sneaks in, he can get in and see the X-rated movie. That has stood with me all these years, that the bunny could get into G, PG, and 13 with a little bit of caution, but if he sneaks in a pair of dark shades,
with the hand in his pockets can go to that one too.
It's just the things that stick in your mind from eras that
it's fun.
Is the human condition.
I think you can bring a giraffe to the G.
Anything can come to the G.
A giraffe with a dog face.
But you gotta put some dark shades on if you want to sneak into that X-rated film. No. I don't even think X is a thing anymore, right?
They don't even like
NC-17 or something.
It's NC-17 now.
And I don't even think X is.
So who could go see Scarface? So a grandma can take a kid to go see Scarface because it's rated R in the 80s.
So I kind of remember Jedi the marketing was crazy. I remember one point in time, somewhere well after Jedi, it would almost be the equivalent of like an Ollie's or one of those discounts. I remember far away from home in that type of store with mom and dad for whatever reason, and there were Return of the Jedi roller skates. Wow. And the collector in me, and again, I'm all of 13, 14. The collector in me was like, and it was just a whole shelf of them, all the sizes. They had lots and lots and lots of them because they over marketed and put, slapped the logo on absolutely and everything like Lucasfilm likes to do, or whatever. And I remember thinking, these would be neat to have in the collection, but then that way mom and dad would go buy me roller skates with the I'll come back someday. Well, I don't know. I couldn't drive. I don't know how I thought I was ever going back. It was very, very far away from town. I just remember seeing that. That's what's probably sparked all this collectorism in me. There is no someday. There is no coming back. You gotta grab it while you see it, because you never know when you're going to see it again, type of thing when it comes to collectibles like that. But yep, legit pair of roller skates, with outdoor roller skates. So that was the thing. Outdoor roller skates with metal wheels, if I recall correctly.
What?
Oh my gosh.
But it was the end.
That
That
was-
was it. Star Wars. He definitely said he wasn't making any more. It was, I don't remember being sad or anything about it, but it was just, that was awesome that we had that, and was collecting things and collecting the cards. Trading cards were a big thing for me. Try to make sure I got all the cards for it. And somewhere well after that, when does Thrawn come out? Somewhere the book comes out, and that was a long time ago. I guess it wasn't any time soon, right? It was in the 90s. Yeah, it was a good long time. I do remember trying it, and I've told that story before, where I just tapped out once there was the Islarmy or whatever it was that you could wear around your neck and it blocked the Force. I'm like, well, this is stupid. That's not true. Yoda told us the Force is in everything, living creatures and all. It surrounds us and binds us and penetrates us. So this author's an idiot. Books, the expanded universe wasn't for me. I needed that began and solidified my Star Wars storytelling is on the big screen.
I just can't imagine going to a movie and then possibly never seeing it again, because
Ryan, that's fascinating. I never thought of that. Right, you're of a mindset where you've always been able to watch the movie in theater and know that it's going to be available to you in short order, and that was not true. It was but that was not true. And you had to buy a movie, Blockbuster's not a thing yet in the 80s, maybe late 80s. It becomes a bit of a thing to where you can buy these and watch them at your leisure. Yeah, especially the on-demand generation now that it's not even so much.
Oh man, when I was a kid, like I was the one you asked to find out when this movie comes on video, because I would that was something I kept track of.
Kept track of that.
Yeah. Okay,
you didn't know if a movie was coming on video, for one thing, and the other thing was that if it did come out on video, it was probably going to cost a pretty penny, because I don't remember VHSs for sale being less than maybe about $40.
Yeah, that sounds about right. They were definitely expensive to buy the movie, and that's where the advent of the mom and pops and the blockbusters became.
That's why Blockbuster did that. Yeah. Because it was too expensive for people to buy them.
I remember going to the warehouse or something and wanting to buy a movie, and my mom was like, "Are you out of your mind? Do you know how much $45 is?"
The warehouse. I used to go.
Right now it's a drop in the bucket, right? But back then it was you could eat for 2 weeks on that.
Interesting, right? So yeah, you're of a generation where you could at least see the movie again, but it was on VHS/DVD or whatever. Whereas your kids are going to mind the same way. They are of a generation where it's on demand. It's not where you have to pop something in, that you have to make an effort. It's just, if you want to watch a movie, you can click, double click, click, and you're watching it. The movies are practically soon after seeing it in theater on demand. That's an interesting part of my experience that I didn't really come to appreciate that. Right, we did not have the ability to see a movie, and I don't know what the turnaround time is. I have to look that up as to when Jedi turns to VHS, to where we did have the option to rewatch it.
I think it was that first set that Ryan picked up. It was what,
it
90?
It wasn't till 1991 ish or so. I don't remember
where it was
when
available.
The first VHS came out. No, it was. I think it was available before that
on Laserdisc.
Yeah.
But the set
because I have a VHS.
The set itself was not available till 1991-ish, 92-ish. It had
all
to be
3
92
movies, you mean?
All 3 movies.
Okay, yeah, no,
it had to be 92
Jedi.
because 92 would have been the 15th anniversary, right? Of the original Star Wars.
Yeah, 77. So, but yeah, it's like
77 to 92
didn't exist type of thing where you watch it and you may never see New Hope again, so you got to watch it 10 times type of thing. So
it's just A New Hope VHSs aren't even the ability to watch them. The only way you got it at that point was if it would show up on TV.
Yeah, and it didn't show up on TV until the mid 80s.
The super fancy, may have had a VCR, but a VCR, the ability to have the VCR technology existed for the consumer, if you will. His empire is 80s, the VHSs in stores. When did we get our first? I remember that being a big deal and going around shopping and finding the one that had the high quality and all that sort of stuff. That was a big deal. But
Yeah,
It
we
says
didn't.
it was
We didn't know what the
released
future
in.
held, so we
I was
didn't know
still a
what.
little kid.
It says it
Yeah,
was released in VHS in '86.
yeah. So
86?
3 years,
Yeah. That was
till
still
you
a
I,
got a
3-year
chance.
gap.
I go
It was probably
nuts
like
when I
$100.
6 months to a year type of thing,
Yeah,
and now
right.
it's down to 3 months for releases, and I feel like I'm scratching at the neck. I can't imagine watching it and then be like, oh, we might never see this again, and then like 6 years later or
Well, I mean,
3
that's
years.
why people had the records, and you'd have to buy the soundtrack and listen,
Yeah,
like, and try to
I've said that
remember.
before. That's why
Yeah,
the trader cards were such a big deal for me,
yeah,
and the books and all that
in
sort
the
of stuff, because
magazines.
that's how you relived it, and
Yeah.
that's how I think we became such, pardon the French, but we became such nerds for it because we had the books that added so much more. The cards that had something on the back that gave bio and gave a bunch of information to the characters or the scenes, and the
And
one
didn't they
series
keep
of cards
releasing the
talked
movie
about.
every year too? Right? A couple years after New Hope came out, they released it a
Oh
couple
yeah,
times.
yeah. The
Yeah,
theaters.
they did
A New
release it
Hope has
a
some
couple times.
ridiculous run of being in the theater for, in some sense or some way, yeah, for a very long time because of that,
For a
Ryan. You're
while.
right. Because that's the only way you were going to get to re-see it, and audiences were still coming back, and there wasn't any new movie to kick it out of a. If a theater had a big screen or a number of screens, there wasn't anybody kicking it out. It's Yeah, it's a lost era. We didn't know what the future had in store. We didn't know that was going to be a thing for us in the future. So such as it is, but yeah, a different time for sure. And the kids today have it easy because exactly you can watch a movie once in the theater. And go, oh, I'm good. I'll wait till it comes back out in the. And what's at home is a huge giant 65-inch TV with a nice sound system that has Dolby surround and has all the stuff that was part of the thing. That's why I'm a huge proponent and was so mad at Disney that they re-released Jedi, but to a limited screen release. We talked about that how it must have been some deal with AMC, but even AMC didn't put it in absolutely every theater. So there's a whole generation of kids, families, whatever, that have the opportunity. Well, hell, Ricky, to see it, to have that theater experience, and they denied them of it for greed. Why they didn't just say, who wants to show it? Show it. Send us the ticket sales or whatever. It just,
Yeah, I don't know why.
I hate the business aspect of it. That put it out there and let movie houses show it. The movie industry's dying as it is, kind of thing. But that's a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have watched it when they did the whole you can watch the saga before Force Awakens comes out, but I wasn't gonna stay there for like 24 hours.
Yeah, that was a lot.
To do a marathon before
new
the
movie,
Rise of
yeah.
Skywalker. Oh no, I need to. The Rise of Skywalker is new content. I want to be in there, fresh, available. Having sat on my butt for the previous 24 hours or whatever, and then try to watch something new. No, that's not for me as a fandom. I want to see that thing and be able to soak it all in, because you only get, again, it's a big thing for me. You only get that one first time. You only get that one opportunity to know I am your father. So you got to be there for that. You have to be prepared for that. That has to be a part of that first time going experience.
That just popped something into my head. I just now remembered that I was probably around junior or senior in high school when Star Wars itself, the very first one, A New Hope, turned 15. So, and at that time, I think it was the Grand Lake Theater, which is a theater out here in the Bay Area, was actually played like a Star Wars marathon. And I had plans with my friends to go, but that all fell through. I'm so sad to this day that I missed that. It would have been a lot of fun to do that, because back then it was only 3 movies, right? So you didn't have to sit through a butt-numbing, what is it, like 27 hours of film?
Yeah, right.
I did wish they released them more frequently. It'd be at least during the summer. I mean, I know they do we have Harkins theaters out here, and they do like summer movie. Usually like kids movies, like they'll put Shrek or whatever ones came out like past couple years, kids movies. The Sandlot, they'll bring those back and stuff like that. But I wish they did that with the with Star Wars. Like even like Avatar, like the 3D movie, I would go watch that again in 3D. Because you can't watch 3D at home. There's a.
I think it's a missed opportunity for them that like any of those not ancient movies, but those types there's a generation that hasn't seen them in the theater, and to say, oh, why, you can go watch it. Well, there's something to the movie going experience, going with the family, grinding popcorn, doing all of that. So to go see The Sandlot, to go see A New Hope with people that have never seen it before, well, it's a new movie, just like Spider-Man Into the Universe. Sure, it was made 20 years ago or whatever, but it's still a new movie if you've never seen it before. It might not command the run. It might not get an audience for multiple weeks, but it doesn't cost anything to show A New Hope. It's not film canisters that you got to ship somewhere or whatever. Just send them the digital file and say, here, run this for 2 weeks and
Yeah.
get our
That's why I was
percentage of
mad that my
ticket
AMC
sales.
didn't even get Return of the Jedi. I
Yeah,
had
that's
an AMC
obscene.
literally down the street, and they didn't get it.
Yeah, I see those posts. Saw those posts during all of that online or whatever. And it was just incredulous that people had to go hours away, and then to find that out to where AMC's were nearby people and they didn't even have it or pick it up.
I was like, there's one literally right down the street. How do you not have this movie? I would have had to go like 20 miles out of my way.
And I wonder like how successful they were putting it back in recently. Like if they were packed theaters, if you had like one dude or like what I mean?
What unless there was movies that took away, what does it cost to run Jedi on screen in a theater house that it wasn't blocking some other movie from being on screen or being seen or whatever. If there's 10 people in there, if there's 20 people on there, they were going to show something anyway. I don't know. It just, to me, it, again, in this digital world where you're not shipping film canisters and all this, there's no cost to showing it. Show it for a one night only or one weekend only. It's going to be Friday night and Saturday night. You do draw in, fill the theater for 2 nights and call it a win.
It was even before like pre-Memorial Day and all that, so it's not like there was a whole bunch to watch. It was like that dead time before Memorial Day weekend and all the big summer launches come up. So like, what was the impetus behind not showing it like at every theater you could possibly cram it into?
That you're not going to buy Disney Plus. You said, no, we want you to move, buy Disney Plus. That's not how. It's the other way. It's that people have Disney Plus. They're going to go buy a movie ticket. Because I would have bought a movie ticket for me and about 10 other people to say, let's go see Star Wars.
Oh, I totally
in the big screen. Yeah, missed opportunity.
I went to the theater and bought a big bag of popcorn and nachos and took it back home and watched
it. Yeah, I spent all this money on snacks and went back home.
No, that's what I did. I actually went and bought. They do curbside pickup for the popcorn from Harkins. It's delicious.
Do they? Oh, okay. I didn't know because ours doesn't do that.
And you can even get the butter and then.
Ours has the MacGuffins.
Well, I read on Collider.com. It says that when the film first opened in 1983, it made 252.5 million, and then when they released it recently for its celebratory release, it made 4.7 million. So it made quite good for its limited release. They say it makes an outstanding.
And I recall somebody doing some
300.
I did a post about it that somebody did some math or look that it made that kind of money on X number of screens, that if you extrapolated it to be the full number of screens that whatever was released that weekend and how much money it made, Star Wars Return of the Jedi would have been in the close running to have been the top movie. But it wasn't on as many screens as whatever the top movie was at that time or whatever. And that got me thinking, well, maybe it's a conspiracy. Disney doesn't want to, piss off the new movie that's being made out, or, I don't know, remember what the new movie was kind of thing, whatever. But there was some math to be done around those figures and those numbers that had Jedi been released on, if you can extrapolate it in that way, had Jedi, because how many people, if it's on more screens, how many of those people that went to a far away screen would have gone to the close one? So it would have reduced the numbers at that screen and inflated there. But
there must be some distribution red tape they had to, go through or something. I don't know. But I mean, they own Fox now, so.
Yeah.
What distribution red tape? They own half of
They own it, and it's digital. They can digitally push stuff anywhere and everywhere. The small mom and pop houses might not have a digital distribution and need or run it through a film, but that will need explained in a very detailed way as to the mindset. Or
I always hope that these things are like a test run, and if they do good, then they'll do it more often. So
yeah, but it's not a test run because it's a 40th anniversary. It's a reason to show the thing. It's a 40th
Right.
anniversary.
It's a special event.
What else do you gonna need? What's next? Because if
we're
that
still
was
considered
Jedi,
like
or
a
the
niche
45th,
fandom,
or
maybe.
the,
I don't know.
or the 50th. When's the 50th of A New Hope? Maybe they'll want to do something then. I guess in 27.
I think they probably just underestimate how many like of us nerds that are out there would actually go watch it. Because I mean, I'm pretty sure like normal people, not like us, like
but that's
didn't
just
even
it.
know
That's
it
the
was
people
on
that are
TV,
gonna go.
That's the people that are going to go. That's the people they're counting
It's
on.
a
the
new
normies.
movie to them, and their kids or their something wholesome family entertainment, something you could take them to type of thing. Whatever. Jedi's a little weird because it's the end of a story, but still, Jedi can stand alone quite easily. I've talked to enough people over the years that Jedi works, by itself and makes you want to see more, know more. But it's an anniversary year. What more excuse did they need? It's just it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I'm still waiting for the rest of the prequels in 3D. So
you and me both. Yeah. Well, all
yeah.
I enjoyed rewatching episode 1.
They exist, so that was done. So would like to see them.
I would even watch the OT in 3D, even if it was just like not even that much of a difference, But I don't know if that'll ever happen. So.
My take on I saw Phantom. They did that whole 3D thing.
Mm-hmm.
I told the story, and they did Phantom and took my oldest to it. It was far enough distance, all that stuff. And I just remember being astounded that they took the technology existed, that they took a 2D film and put some 3D elements in it, and it didn't look bad or whatever. It just opened up the areas that they were in. It just gave some depth for it just added to what you were watching. It wasn't done in any sort of cheesy.
I remember when that was going to come out, like I remember George Lucas saying like, well, it's not going to be popping out gimmicky 3D.
Yeah.
It's like he's like 3D is going to be in the future like the best way to watch a movie. It's going to be the clearest detail, and it's not necessarily like going to be the
gimmick
special
factor.
effects popping out at you. Just it's going to be the clearest picture you could see.
It's not going to be Jaws popping out of the screen, but it'll be something that gives like depth and dimension and texture to things. Not
add to the experience.
Jaws.
But now we have 4K, so I don't know if that's even being considered anymore. Or 8K.
Yeah, really. Now. I mean, that's true.
What's the end of your? We got to know Steven's
we've got
answers to his trivia.
We have reached the end of the show. As I said, this is how the episode ends, with thunderous applause. As we go back to the questions that I gave at the start of the episode, if everybody can remember, Return of the Jedi themed questions. The first one was, what was the first thing that C-3PO says in Return of the Jedi? Anybody want to make a quick guess?
It's definitely a guess, and it's not. So what's his first scene?
Is it hello there?
No, he says.
What's his first scene?
He says Lando never came back from this terrible place, something like that.
When he's walking through the desert, right?
Yeah, him and R2 are walking towards it, right?
I'll take a shot at it.
Yes.
Isn't it? There's no one here.
No, because they talk before they get to the door.
I think he said they Master Calrissian never returned from this dreadful place. He says something like that.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. You say you got me thinking, but I've got written down here something completely different. This is what happens when you rely on other web pages.
They're walking down not walking, but
that's right.
They're rolling down the desert
shot
towards Jabba's palace.
I think
that's right. They're rolling towards Jabba's palace.
It must be that R2 sort of makes some noises and then he responds to what he says, because they got.
You should be, because Master Lando never returned from this terrible place or something like that.
But then when he gets to the door, he says like, "Oh, no one's home."
I think you're very close. But apparently his first words were, "Of course I'm worried," and then he probably says, "Because Lando never."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Of course I'm worried is a great first line for 3PO. Sure.
Of course I'm worried.
Yes.
It's like a permanent state of being for him.
Yes, that was the first bit. And then the other question was, actually happened just before this, what is the number of the first Imperial shuttle seen in the movie?
The number of the shuttle.
Yes.
The number of the shuttle.
Apparently it's actually said in the film.
Something told Darian.
ST321.
Yes, that's it. ST321. Yes.
Who or where or when is that? When Han and them are flying
When
the shuttle?
Vader's-
When is it?
No, when
Vader
Vader's
shot.
landing.
Who says it?
That guy.
Whoever's in
That guy, Mr.
I mean, it's not right. If somebody
Greg.
says it, it's not printed on the thing as it's flying in the
No,
frame.
it said,
right?
It said, yeah.
I think you just found your license plate, Marie.
And is it on?
321, yeah.
Is it truly an on-screen audibleized thing, or is it one of those? It's
Yeah, it
heard
is.
in
It's
the background by.
I think when they're checking codes that come in, to make
Yeah,
sure.
no, it's the flight controller talking. It says shuttle ST321, whatever. They make the acknowledgement.
Command station, this is ST-321, code clearance blue.
Yeah.
Oh, they're setting. I was gonna say that only happens for Han and them, but right, they set that scene up so
Yeah,
that
they set that scene
Han
up
and
for
them
later.
for later. That
Shuttle
you need to have some
Tiberium.
sort of you need to have some sort of
Yeah.
code. It's an older one,
Transmit
sir,
your
but it
clearance
checks.
code.
Yeah.
It checks out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chain code.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great bit of numbers like that.
Take
Not
notes.
my forte, but yeah, that's a good.
It might come
I
up in
can't
an
believe
annual
it because
quiz
I
game.
couldn't remember it at the beginning, but now I just did. And for some reason, it just came up to me when we were talking about this.
I had no idea.
That was weird.
I thought when he asked the question, I'm going through the movie going, I don't ever remember seeing any sort of numbers printed on anything,
No, they weren't
in
printed on
anywhere,
License
any
plate
sort of.
Said it.
There's not a lot of, when you go through Star Wars proper, there's not a lot of dialogue. There's just not a lot of words printed anywhere, are there?
No.
It's obviously in
Because they're all
Arabash, but even
Yeah.
that there's not a lot of.
I never
exit
knew all
signs with
those,
warning no rails and all that.
I didn't know that all the troopers in the background of that scene were all painted. I never realized it.
Not all
Yeah,
of
it's
them,
a
yeah,
big-
majority
I
of
saw
them.
it.
That's
I
a
saw
great.
it in an exhibit once in a Star Wars exhibit. I think it was in San Francisco. It's a big pane of glass, and it's got all these troopers painted on it. It was really cool.
Yeah, the things they did to make the world, to world building that's so easy to movie makers these days, and much appreciation to it. It's been a fantastic Senate, everyone.
Yep, it's time for us to all say goodbye, and I'm going to go everybody an opportunity to say goodbye. So go around the table. That this episode has been brought to you by Ricky,
Goodbye. I don't know.
by Ron,
That's what he's going for. Yeah, cheers, everyone.
by Ryan,
Goodbye there.
and by Marie.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye for me. Goodbye. May the force be with you all. Until next time. Bye bye.
May the force be with you. Bye-bye.
Of course, see you guys later.
Go switch off. I am the Senate.
Be sure to follow us online. We're at Facebook at PSW Senate. Join our Plus W Star Wars Facebook group where we all are in there interacting. You can find us on Twitter at PSW Senate. On Instagram, we're at PSW Senate Podcast. And on TikTok, we're at PSW Senate Podcast. We look forward to hearing from you.
The Force will be with you, always.
Disappointed.
Who was here? I don't think Ryan was here for Ronbot 3000, was he?
No.
No, that was.
This is actually marking Ryan's anniversary of joining the show.
It is.
Yep. Not last year, but the year before, right? The day I was late.
That one day.
That one day.
What
What was that?
was that?
Someone just password.
Was it like a buzzing?
I was listening. Hey, get your chips or your crisp fix out now. I was listening to one of our sessions or whatever, and oh my, didn't notice it at the time, but it was very noticeable and going back and re-listening to it.
To which one?
I wish I was that well organized to.
Because I usually have to try to edit all that munching and stuff out. So there must have been instances where I couldn't.
Well, if somebody's talking over top of it or something like that.
That's usually me eating something, isn't it? I've got some cake. I might actually start skipping into that a bit early. I've got some remains of apple. Sorry, no, it's not apple. I keep saying people apple. It's lemon curd cake sponge with some frothy whipped cream, sort of whipped cream kind of icing. Well, I'm just going to whip up now.
That sounds pretty good.
Before we start, because I don't want to eat it during it, because Ricky's just complaining about all the sound effects on.
Well, it's not crunching now. You're just like mouthful of food.
Lip smacking. If you got the packaging out of the way, then you're fine.
Hopefully it tastes better than those little Grogu cakes I bought the other day.
It's in foil. I put it on some foil.
Little Grogu cakes?
Yeah, those little Grogu. I had put a picture in the chat.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, they're like little tasty cake things. They're okay. They're just like the texture's really weird. It's like really like dense in the middle. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Grogu shaped thing.
Yeah, they're little green cakes. No, they're not shaped like Grogu, but it's all over the packaging.
Packaging. Okay. Yeah, I always have a problem with that. I have a Grogu pinata.
They're really cute cakes though. Like if you have it like for a little like Star Wars party, they look really neat. But
yeah, and if you give it to kids, kids aren't gonna care.
My daughter was like, "Yeah, it was okay."
Really?
Yeah. She said
Most
it was.
kids I know would just stuff their faces and be like, "Yeah, whatever."
She told me it was too sweet, but I was like, I think it needed more sugar. But she liked the sprinkles on top. So.
Well, that's cool.
There's no such thing as too sweet.
No, yes, there is. I'm a salty person.
Says the Brit who gets free dental care. No, just kidding.
And cakes, apparently. You can see someone's got cakes.
Cakes up the wazoo. My God, you're always eating cake.
Don't you have when it's like somebody's birthday in the office? Don't people bring in cakes?
Yeah, of course they do.
Sure.
I just never bring it home because it would never get eaten.
Well, I have cake. I pretty much have cake every day, so varying amounts. Very nice. Bit dry yesterday.
That sounds really good. I'm jealous of you eating
good.
that.
It's not as good as yesterday. It's dried out a little bit, but it's quite nice.
Well, nature of the beast, huh?
I won't have a rumbling stomach today.
Yeah, there's the picture of the little cakes, Ron.
Oh, cake bite.
They are cute.
Yeah, they're cute. I mean, they weren't bad. Like, if you're having a Star Wars themed thing and you have them on the table, it's cool. But
oh my gosh.
Yeah. If I had a choice between that and like a Hostess cupcake, I'm taking the Hostess cupcake.
Yeah, that line of collectability is a tough one because we don't have cake bites near us, so that's the kind of thing be hard to collect.
I found these at the grocery store. I'm like,
I have to say that looks
it's interesting. The packaging, the boxes that way, and then each cake is individually packaged.
Yeah, there's like 3 in a little plastic thing inside they're little bite-sized things, but
yeah, cool.
Yeah.
If I was a kid and I got that in my lunch at school, I'd be like, "Ooh, yeah."
Well, they're great for birthdays.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. It looks gross to me. It reminds me of cakes you used to have in the 80s at my birthday parties.
It kind of looks like Colin the Caterpillar, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, kind of a bit. Well, what's left of him?
It says it's apple and jelly. Oh, that's what that flavor was. Okay, apple jelly.
Yeah.
Inside
apple
and
jelly.
green.
Okay.
I like colorful vanilla cake and green frosting. Like
Yeah.
you don't really know what the green frosting tastes like. You know, it's a
It
vanilla
doesn't
cake,
taste
but
like
the
frogs,
frosting is just
so.
green. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm curious now that you know what frogs taste like.
If you
Louis
slice
and
up,
frog cakes.
if you slice up Brogo, that's what it looks like on the inside.
Plus, they're convenient because you can grab and go.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, I'm gonna take some of them to work next week. So
Grab and
if there's any
Grogu.
left over.
Yeah, I
Did you
wonder-
finish watching
sort of-
Visions, Steven?
Sorry,
Did you finish Visions?
I did. I can't believe you guys put me through that. But
Crazy.
I know I'm not the biggest Visions. I was say Fission. I'm not the biggest Visions fan, but yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. I'll try not to bring the whole conversation down. But yeah,
Come on, they had an Aardman short. That was a good one.
Oh, they
Yeah.
are. Yes. Yeah, I have to remind myself. I've got the list of ones here anyway. So
Yeah.
I thought they were
Anyway, we'll
way
talk about
way loads better than the first one. So
I would go along with that overall as a collective. Yes.
They were. We'll talk about it.
Yes. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Okay. So, hang on a minute. Now, keep talking about yourself. Just getting some talking about here.
he's getting more cake.
Yeah. I mean,
The
He's
rain
just got
in
like
Spain
a little
stays
chef
mainly on
walking
the
around like,
plane.
here you go. sir."
I'm gonna put all water. I got
He's on some reality show where they just give you cakes.
We do it. You can make us feel like all we do is eat cake. I've got a feeling that all Americans do are have barbecues and eat steak.
Well, yeah, that's what I had last night for dinner.
Eat cake.
Right?
No, I had Panera last night for dinner, so no, that's not all we do.
At Burger King.
Did you have it your way?
It seemed like it was on the menu.
Did you have a Spider-Man burger? Is that what you had?
For this.
No, because I don't eat the beef, so I don't
yeah.
anymore. But the kid got it, and he really liked it.
A small mom and pop video game trading store. It's not a GameStop, but it's equipped, but it's just run by some locals. They have a promotional thing, and this month was a free Pokemon pack or any sort of trading card game or whatever. So I took my nephew there so he could pick out a pack and get a free pack of Pokemons, and there was a Burger King nearby. So let's stop and get some fries. I'll share a thing of fries with you, and we'll open up, see what kind of cards you got, just to have some time to hang out with him or whatever. He wanted a Sprite. So I bought him a Sprite to go with it, and it was like $2.29 for a small. And I just about fell out of my chair. I haven't bought it, usually if I go to the store like that, it's or a fast food, I'm buying like the meal deal thing where it's all one price, and I never really think about it. I just get my sandwich, the fries, and a drink or whatever. Yeah, just a small drink for $2 and change. I was incredulous
That's
to holy
ridiculous.
cow, that is obscene, really. And then
That's ridiculous.
he filled it up with filled the cup like 3/4 of the way with ice. I'm like, dude, you're not going to get much drink out of that.
No, you get the
No,
drinks
you're
from
not getting your
McDonald's because they're
$2 out
$1.
of that one.
You get the food from somewhere else. You get the drinks from McDonald's.
Even that
They're
McDonald's, are they still $1 for you now?
Yeah.
Our area.
Yeah, they're $1.29 now.
Yeah, they went up. That dollar stuff it got hit by
yeah.
inflation too, and all the dollar menu stuff got jacked up. Anyway, it just
Yeah, I go there all the
Getting
time
crazy.
for like my $1.29 Coke.
Ron, did he
just
get
for
any
the
good
hell of
pulls
it.
from that pack?
if he did, he was excited. So that I was happy. If he did, I don't know. He got 2 shinies, and I think out of a 10-card pack, I thought he said 6 of them were he didn't think he had them. But he was happy with whatever transpired in that whole Scarlet and
the Scarlet Violet pack. Okay, yeah, those
Violet pack. There's Scarlet and Violet characters, or are they factions of some sort? He didn't really.
Every
understand
time there's like a new, they always it's like the new era generation of Pokemon. It's like they have phases. So like right now it's Scarlet and Violet. So this is how Nintendo gets you. You can either choose to buy the Scarlet version of the Pokemon game or the Violet version of the Pokemon. It's essentially the same game, but one Switch game has like certain Pokemon to catch, and the other one has like their own little specific ones to catch. But Yeah, that's just the overall name of the era.
I think I have seen that in the video game store, right? There were two versions of the game. I wondered about that. Is it just the packaging or the gameplay itself you're saying is legit
Yeah, it's
different?
basically the same, but there's like maybe a couple different like rivals to battle and a couple different Pokemon catch. So the thing is they want people to trade between games. Yeah.
Genius.
Of course they sell the double pack that's like $100 and some bucks. So I haven't done that yet. I've only been buying one of them. Ron, I have like 12 Pokemon binders. I was just counting them right now. Yeah. We have tons of cards.
Right. So, just thinking here, look at the agenda stuff. We've got any news? Have we got any news? Is there any news this episode?
No good news is good news.
I hear Kathleen Kennedy is getting fired. That's why.
Oh, all right. Excellent. We can talk about that again.
Yeah, and Disney's making like no money and they're closing all the parks. Yeah.
Yeah, all the parks.
And Star Wars is finished.
Yeah, and George Lucas told everybody he hates everything. So
I think there's one book coming, and then Ahsoka starts in August. So I mean, there's kind of a little slow.
Yeah, so it's slim, but it's a bit of a dry period at the moment.
Yeah.
For a bit.
I'm still trying to read Vengeance for the past month, so it's
that's going to come out on audiobook this week. So
it comes a couple of days' time, isn't it? 10. Is it 10?
I'm not even halfway through yet, so you guys might beat me through it.
Oh, I have.
Oh, Steven finished. Yeah, Steven finished.
But he didn't read the other one yet.
No, I haven't done the other one.
Wait. Oh, Cataclysm?
No, the kid one.
Press Planet X.
Yeah, Planet
X.
I haven't done that one.
Honestly, it's not necessary. Don't pay for it. So.
I didn't pay for Vengeance though, so I could pay for this one and make up for it. Yes.
Well, Disney needs the money, Steve.
They do need the money.
Desperately.
Yes.
I'm donating like $10 a month to them and their streaming service, so that's getting plenty of my money.
Yes. So we just got Around the Table, Visions Season 2, and ROTJ. Unless anybody's watched as much as the Jedi High Adventures as I have. I've only watched 2 episodes.
Yeah, same here. I watched 2.
Yeah, I haven't watched much yet.
That's
I
a little
have an
kid
entire
thing.
month off of work, so
Yeah.
I just watched the first one with my nephew. It was entertaining enough.
Yeah,
I just haven't gotten around to it. It's not like
we might
was
do
pretty.
a conversation.
It was pretty.
It certainly is pretty. I'll give you that. I just found the second episode hard going, but here we go. Okay, let's get rolling then. Everybody ready?
Yarp.
Ready.
Yarp.